boys were arrested for battery. A 14-year-old boy was cited. A shopper who witnessed the incident was able to confirm what happened.
Michael Kastner reports police say the person who was wearing that bunny costume, thankfully, not seriously hurt. It is 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. First, though, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Triple team traffic now with Smile and Mark McKay.
All right, Cheryl, we do have Georgia State Patrol blue lights flashing alongside the connector, 7585 southbound below 17th Street. Been working a crash there, slowing the ride out of northwest Atlanta into the I-75 85 corridor there near 17th Street. The slowing on 75 begins at Northside Drive. 400, you're on the brakes leaving Lenox Road, and 85 inside the perimeter, slowing around Lenox Pratt Cheshire Bridge exit 88. A little difficult through northeast Atlanta, not only on 85, but the Buford Spring connector headed south toward Midtown. What's left over on I-85 in Gwinnett County? Chinway Maponia Cook.
Leftover delays for breakfast from the rush hour that's got you slowing out of Gwinnett. Your trip time is about 30 minutes from Boggs Road to Spaghetti Junction, I-285. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Sunny, breezy, and cool today. High 61. Cold tonight, although 40 in the city. Low to mid-30s, even some upper 30s in the suburbs. A little frost to start the day Wednesday. Then sunny with a high of 67.
And right now, sunny and 47 degrees in Powder Springs. Another 47 if you're in Woodstock. It's 48 degrees in Decatur. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Good Tuesday morning, friends. We got a monster of a show for you today. Obviously, hypersensitive to the markets. Good news in futures trading. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, all up over 2%. In just a couple of minutes, we'll go to New York City and preview today's day on the markets and a recap of the crazy roller coaster we experienced yesterday. Speaking of the markets, this is fantastic. At 10:35, Clark Howard is going to join us live talking tariffs and the economic uncertainty. Going to pick his brain and maybe take some questions from you about what's been going on with the markets, your retirement plans, and the impact that tariffs might have on you and me. We're going to start, though, at the White House, recapping a big meeting yesterday between President Trump and the Israeli Prime
I
Minister.
think Israel can serve as a model for many countries who ought to do the same.
Joining us live from CBS News at the nation's capital, it's Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, good morning. As always, thanks for your time.
Good morning, Mark. It's good to be with you.
Early in the second Trump term, but already the second face-to-face visit between Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump. Do we know what happened behind closed doors and in front of cameras yesterday with the two world leaders?
Yeah, certainly telling that Netanyahu came back to the United States to meet with Trump. Particularly notable that it came after Trump announced those retaliatory tariffs last week. If you'll remember, Trump had that big Rose Garden announcement, which then led to a little bit of a market roiling, so how could one forget? But we heard and saw Netanyahu at the White House yesterday. He's the first global leader to meet with Trump face-to-face since those retaliatory tariffs were announced. And it was notable because Israel had previously said that they would suspend all tariffs on goods coming to the United States in anticipation of the tariff announcement. But regardless, Trump announced last week that there would be a 17% retaliatory tariff on Israeli goods coming to the U.S. So quite notable there, Netanyahu meeting with Trump, not only about those economic negotiations, but also about the ongoing war in Gaza. Another thing I do want to point out as well that the two men did talk about, and that was big news from that meeting yesterday, was Trump said that the U.S. will have direct talks with Iran over their nuclear program. And if you'll remember, not only is Israel engaged in a conflict in Gaza, but also having conflict with the Houthis, which are an Iranian-backed terror group out of Yemen. So quite notable there that Trump says there will be some negotiations and conversations happening with Iran over its nuclear program. Now, Iran says that they were caught by surprise by that announcement, but did ultimately confirm that there will be conversations happening on Sunday in Oman between Iranian officials and U.S. officials about their nuclear program. So
wow, a lot.
Notable difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of headlines
a
came
lot.
out of there. Let me go
Yeah.
back to the tariff talks, if you don't mind, Olivia. Because unless my research is wrong, Israel is one of the nations that the United States actually has a trade surplus with, meaning we sell more to them than they buy from us, which I would have thought would have made Israel not maybe immune to the Liberation Day tariffs, but they would have had minimal, if any, tariff impact.
One would think so, right? And also, they're our top ally in that region. It's crucial to have the relationship that we do with them. So one would think you wouldn't want to do anything to harm that relationship between the United States and Israel. Still, though, Trump did put on those retaliatory tariffs, even though we have that trade surplus with them. But quite notable, this kind of goes to that underlying factor we've been talking about with White House and economists who have been criticizing that formula that the White House used to put on these tariffs, saying that this was a bad equation. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It does include those non-tariff barriers like VAT taxes and other things that would, in their calculations say amount to a trade deficit. But on its face, we do have very good trade with Israel, one of our top partners. Netanyahu obviously is a negotiator, political, and he's got some political prowess. So he took it upon himself to come to the United States and have that meeting face-to-face with Trump and compliment him and say that they're working towards this deal, doing all of the legwork to try to make sure that they are not slapped with huge retaliatory tariffs. And those are set to go into effect tonight. At midnight.
Yeah. Olivia Rinaldi from CBS News joining us live from the White House here on the Mark Arum Show. Over to the Iran story. I'm going to play some audio from President Trump yesterday.
We're dealing with the Iranians. We have a very big meeting on Saturday, and we're dealing with them directly.
I mean, really coming out of left field, especially what the United States has been doing with the Houthis, the proxy of Iran. This wasn't on my radar at all, any sort of talks or normalization with Iran. But, if this Sunday meeting goes forward, this could actually be really huge for the region.
Oh, it certainly could. It would be very, very important. Obviously, when Trump came into office during the first time, he pulled out of the Iran nuclear agreement, which would allow them, some enrichment and a lifting of, or would pause their nuclear program for an exchange of lifting of sanctions. Trump pulled out of that, and since then we've seen a ramping up from Iran of their nuclear program. Trump now saying they're having direct talks, the Iranians are saying they're indirect talks, meaning that they're going to go through mediators and negotiators, which is how this has been unfolding for the last several years during the Biden administration, but still quite notable regardless that Trump is saying he's open to those talks because, as we've seen over the last several weeks, those strikes against the Houthis have ramped up significantly. We have seen, near daily bombardment of the Houthis there. This is part of the White House's maximum pressure campaign. So it is quite interesting that as part of this campaign has been unfolding, Trump is saying that they're going to have those conversations. We're hearing that Steve Witkoff might be the person who's going to Oman. He's also been the one who's been in those negotiations with Israel and Gaza in Egypt over a potential ceasefire there. He's also been in negotiations with Ukraine and Russia and ending that conflict there. So he's certainly keeping his people busy in making these negotiations and deals to end these foreign conflicts.
Final quick question for you, Olivia. Anything big planned at the White House? Any, press conferences? Will the president be speaking at all?
We do have a press briefing today on Trump's schedule. He's also expected to sign some executive orders. And tonight he's going to address the NRCC here in Washington, those congressional Republicans who he also desperately needs to pass his budget resolution. And that vote is coming this week. So if you thought we were going to get a slowdown of news, I can promise you we're not. We're setting up for a budget fight later this week here in Washington. The news never stops.
And neither does your coverage. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News. As always, great stuff. Thanks for your time, Olivia.
Thank you.
We're going to go in depth a little bit later on the show because, I was not aware of any talks that President Trump was arranging with the Iranians. I do want to go in depth on that. Obviously, we're going to monitor the markets today. The opening bell in 17 minutes. Futures are up, though, huge, which is great news for all you 401k folk. The Dow Jones futures up 1,000, NASDAQ up 434. Looks good pre-opening, but we saw what happened yesterday. You never know what's going to happen when the markets do eventually open. Let's continue our team coverage of the market ups and downs. Joining us from ABC News in New York City, it's correspondent Brian Clark. Brian, good morning. When we were on the air yesterday, it was remarkable. The Dow was down a ton, and then minutes later, it skyrocketed through the roof, only to come down later again. Do we know what caused that increase in spike during the middle of the markets yesterday?
Well, that initial reversal, the sell-off when the markets opened yesterday, that continued from what we saw on Thursday and Friday of last week. The spike up was prompted by some social media rumors, let's call them, that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, had said that President Trump was considering a pause on the tariffs. That wasn't true. He never said that. It was a very kind of a liberal reading of something Bessent said in a television interview. So once investors realized that wasn't true, then we saw another sell-off, but then there was some optimism as it was announced that Japan wanted to negotiate, or that Japan and the U.S. would negotiate, that the European Union wanted to negotiate. So I think we could very well see more of this volatility just react to the news.
That's remarkable that, basically a fake social media post caused, a $1 trillion move up in the markets yesterday. Because when it was happening in real time during the show yesterday, I was looking at Truth Social. I'm like, did President Trump post something that got the market jazzed up? But it was just this really, I don't want to say a fake post, but an accurate post that Wall Street reacted to very favorably.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you think about it.
Exactly.
That this kind of that this information had such an impact, and people. Some people might have made money. Some people certainly lost money. But then you think about all the implications of we saw it certainly the first term for President Trump. He was more active on social media than he is now. But we saw the impact that it had his first 4 years in the White House. So it is a reminder to maybe don't always react to the immediate thing you see.
Brian Clark from ABC News joining us on the Mark Arum Show. The markets, I don't have to tell you, Brian, hate uncertainty. But yet we're still getting mixed messages from the Trump administration, from Republican House and Senate members about what President Trump wants to do with these tariffs. Is he set in stone in these tariffs, or is this a negotiation tool, and maybe we won't see the full-fledged Liberation Day tariffs that were laid out? Have we gotten any clarity yet this Tuesday on what the long-term plan is?
Well, ABC News, our White House reporter Mary Bruce, she was able to speak this morning with the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and he said that he thinks that deals could come together very quickly with a Vietnamese official coming over. These talks are going to happen with a Japanese delegation, and that's all well and good. But the problem is, you mentioned the uncertainty. A lot of it comes from President Trump, because somebody like Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is saying one thing, but then the president has been adamant that he wants this trade deficit cut, and that, he would make deals with certain countries, but not China. China needs to make a different deal. You see Peter Navarro, who's had a big presence in his ear, saying this is not a negotiation. So that is all kind of fed into the uncertainty that is fueling what's going on here.
Yeah, I think that exactly right, the uncertainty. I mean, I think investors, whether they be Wall Street or Main Street, just want everyone to be on the same page so they know, all right, if this is the tariff situation, now we know what the markets are going to do. We know what our trading partners are going to do. But when you're getting these mixed messages, whether it's just a negotiation tool or if these numbers are set in stone, it's making head spin, literally.
Exactly right. And that is, there's also on top of that, I think people, maybe trying to be optimistic or more optimistic than what reality is. And they think, okay, well, something's going to happen. So that's a great example is yesterday with this social media report about the pause on the tariffs. And we saw the immediate impact. So I think if we did get something a little more concrete, we would see an immediate spike up.
Brian, as we wait for the markets to open here in the U.S., do we get any indication on what the Asian markets did?
they were better. And that just kind of shows, I think there's some optimism just on the fact that the Japanese talks were going to happen. Japan stocks were up by 6% yesterday, and the futures markets are much higher here in the U.S., up about 800 points on the Dow. So it's pointing to maybe good news at the open, but I think we could certainly expect to see more volatility.
There you go. Brian Clark, ABC in New York. Brian, thanks for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. It should be hopefully a good day on Wall Street, but as we learned yesterday, it certainly can be a roller coaster ride. Again, futures markets, huge. Dow Jones, S&P, and NASDAQ all up over 2.5%. Good stuff. The Dow Jones futures, 39,270. Again, I love that magical 40,000 number. We shall see if it passes that. All right, let's check the roads. Checking trouble on I-285, live with the latest. It's Mike Shields.
Right with the sun in your eyes, Mark, not helping things. 285 eastbound the outer loop right at Flat Shoals Parkway, exit 48. A center lane blocked with a stall, trying to clear, but that has you on and off the brakes as you leave I-675. And travel advisory with the road work now set up getting into Lawrenceville on Highway 316 eastbound of Sugarloaf Parkway. Only the left lane's open right now. Delays leaving I-85. Use Duluth Highway or Highway 29 as alternates. This support is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Window shopping can be shocking. Typical replacement windows are big, bulky vinyl windows that lose their efficiency over time. Not what you want for your home.
That's why at North Georgia Replacement Windows, we don't offer those. We only carry the best. Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows.
Experience the Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass difference at your home or in our new Alpharetta showroom.
Visit us at ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? With Xfinity, you can. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited mobile welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Multiple contractors and estimates for your home projects? What a hassle. Instead, trust the Plus. Painting Plus.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We're reliable, fully licensed, and insured. No muss, no fuss. Trust the Plus and leave everything on your list to us.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
So how do we create value? This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. Value comes from having complete control over our product quality. From design to manufacturing to delivery, everything is handled in-house by our trained professionals. This approach allows us to maintain strict quality standards and respond quickly to customer needs. We believe true value is created when a company takes full responsibility for its products. When you choose OMF, you're getting a mattress built with care and attention at every step. OriginalMattress.com.
Yeah, the champ is here. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show at 9:24. I am the champion of the WSB Radio NCAA tournament brackets. I know it's no surprise, right? You look at me and you go, oh, that guy knows what he's talking about. It's not a surprise to you that I won the tournament. I was about to lead the show off with it, but I said, you know what? Let me be modest and wait a little bit to celebrate my victory. In case you were wondering, I came in first in the tournament. Not that there was, any doubt there. Shout out to Jennifer Perry from Atlanta's Morning News. She came in second. And how about this, Deborah? Third place finisher. I know you are Team Shelley. Shelley Winter came in third.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job, Shells.
And it was, the on-air staff kind of crushed this. I came in first, Perry second, Shelley third, Michael Malborn, D-Funk, came in fifth, Ken Charles tied with fifth. Really good stuff. Very excited. And what do I win, like $37,000? Is that? No, it's more like
something like that.
$112. No, it's not. It's just for bragging rights. And again, I had promised to give up filling out the brackets for Lent. But Ken Charles, our program director, strong-armed me into doing it. I said, Ken, you do this. What happens if I beat you? You're going to feel really bad and sure enough, I did it. I came in first. So
congratulations.
Thank you very much, Longoria. I usually dominate the fantasy football league. I obviously dominate the brackets. I wonder if they're going to stop inviting me to these things. I even told him I gave it up for Lent. And then Ken says, you're Jewish. You don't celebrate Lent. So there you go. Anyway, I am the champ. The champ is here. Quick update on a local story involving that big biolab plume. What can you tell us about that, Deborah?
BioLab has officially been fined for that chemical fire back in September of last year. OSHA cited BioLab for 4 serious and 2 other than serious violations. The company will be forced to pay $61,000 in fines. BioLab has 15 days to appeal, and several law firms and Rockdale County officials have filed lawsuits after the fire. Some people in the community want BioLab out of the neighborhood.
61. Longoria's had speeding tickets more than $61,000.
Geez,
like, what the heck, Deborah? Is that
What
just
does that even cover?
Nothing? 60. I mean, we talked. Remember when that was going on? We talked to the guy that owned the Super 8 motel. Like, that wouldn't even cover his lost business. I'm hoping there are more. There's more comeuppance for BioLab in this, because that's laughable. $61,000 for improperly storing some chemicals. That's it. That's crazy. Who gets the money, by the way? Does that just go into the Rockdale County coffers? Does it go to, people can people that have been impacted by that fire, can they place claims? Yeah, hopefully it's just the first of many, but $61,000. Come on. NBA players get fined more for yelling at a ref than that. That's insane. All right, keep me posted on that, Deborah. I'm hyper sensitive to that story, that massive biolab flume that we were covering for weeks and weeks here on WSB. All right, markets open in 3 minutes. We'll update that. And is there anything AI can't do? And now an AI breakthrough when it comes to fingerprints. We'll tell you about that story next on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we are conquering the unconquerable. Our experts are leading the way with innovative regenerative medicines and biotherapeutics that can repair diseased, injured, or defective tissues and organs to help treat people with chronic medical conditions. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic, you know where to go.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, 80% lean Kroger brand ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are $4.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and that means this month, buying diamonds comes with even more diamonds. All through the month of April, when you spend $9.95 or more, you'll receive a pair of gorgeous hand-matched diamond studs absolutely free. Shopping for your wife? Tuck those studs away for your anniversary. Upgrading your ring? Surprise your daughter with her first pair of diamonds. No matter how you spin it, there's no better deal in jewelry than Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. All April long in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285, exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Cheryl Castro. Our top local story. There's growing concern about what tariffs might do to the booming airline industry. The tariffs have big implications for Atlanta-based Delta Airlines, which is set to report its first quarter earnings tomorrow. Robert W. Baird airline analyst Savvy Smith tells Bloomberg things are looking much softer for Delta.
In February, you saw a slowdown in demand, and I think it was just a reaction to the policy uncertainty.
That's especially true for international travel, which has been a bright spot for Delta in recent years. But Sith says it should not be anything like the pandemic. A travel slump 5 years ago. Delta stock has already been down due to slumping travel forecasts more than 25% in the last month. Conyers chemical company Biolab is hit with a hefty fine for that massive fire last fall.
Federal safety officials are fining Biolab over $61,000 for 6 violations involving the improper storage of chemicals. The OSHA findings say these actions contributed to the September fire that produced a massive plume of toxic smoke and resulted in shelter-in-place orders for nearby residents like Alex Boy, who now wants the company gone.
We're not going to forget. We're going to do what we have to do to push them out of the community.
Biolab has 15 days to respond to the citations. In a statement, the company says it remains committed to working collaboratively with OSHA, but did not say whether it would contest the findings. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Well, a huge rally on Wall Street. And the major averages are surging shortly after the opening bell sounds this morning. Right now, we are seeing nearly 4% gains for the Dow, as well as the NASDAQ S&P 500, up nearly 3.5%. New this morning, Iran's foreign minister now says he and U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff will be in direct talks in Oman over Tehran's nuclear program. The statement comes after the White House announced the U.S. plans direct talks with Iran over nuclear weapons. A correspondent Shannon Kingston has details on how the process will likely play out.
U.S. diplomats will sit on one floor of a hotel, while Iranian diplomats sit on another floor of the hotel.
Some third-party country, they pass messages back and forth. They don't even text or have a phone call without another country involved.
President Trump hints at military action if the deal is not struck after Saturday's meeting. A new data from the Health and Human Services Department shows allergies are lingering, and the season is starting earlier due to changes in the weather.
If you feel like allergy season is getting longer, you're not wrong, and you're not alone. Research shows tree pollen is peaking, and grass pollen season is not only getting longer, but getting more intense.
Michelle Franzen reports rising temps are leading to milder winters and more frost-free days. That confuses trees and other blooms and leads to more pollen. Well, a new lawsuit accuses Google of using its products to secretly gather information about school-aged children. Bloomberg Law reports the suit filed in California federal court claims the tech giant collects not only education records, but thousands of other data points that span a child's life. Google has not commented on the lawsuit. Well, in a first for science, a biotech company says it brought the extinct direwolf back to life. It's a species that has not walked the earth since the Stone Age.
Well known from HBO's hit show Game of Thrones, ABC News given exclusive access into Colossal's lab in Dallas, where scientists are using genes from gray wolves to create dire wolves.
And Matt Gutman reports the company also plans to bring back woolly mammoths by 2028. It's 9:33, time to check traffic and weather as we go live now to the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And Cheryl, live look at the jam cam on the southeast leg of the perimeter. Stalled vehicle in the second left lane. Also the sun in your eyes on 285 eastbound, the outer loop at Flat Shoals, exit 48. That has you on and off the brakes as you leave I-675. And getting slow on I-20 into Cobb County with road work 20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. Left lane blocked to the CD ramp. Also expecting the block a lane on the through lanes as you get past Wesley Chapel Road as well. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Lots of sunshine today, breezy, high 61. Some frost in the suburbs Wednesday morning, 40 in the city, then high 67.
Sunny, 49 degrees in Smyrna, 49 again in Duluth. It's 50 degrees in Stonecrest. More news at 10 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
We're not looking at that. We have many, many countries that are coming to negotiate deals.
President Trump yesterday at the White House. The markets just opened. We'll update them. And another amazing breakthrough when it comes to artificial intelligence. We'll explain in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Breda knows how critical it is to protect the inside of your home, not just the outside, against bugs and critters. Termites, the most destructive pest of all. They literally eat your house. Hey, it's Mark Arum here for Breda Pest Management. I bet your termite company just walks around outside, checks bait stations, and says, hey, you're termite free. But are you? How can they claim that when they haven't even inspected inside? Only Breda protects your home from termites with a complete liquid barrier system, not just those bait stations. And only Breda's early detection process will thoroughly inspect your entire home with advanced infrared cameras. Wow. Breda is so confident they guarantee your protection and will lock in your termite rate for 10 years. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like termites. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Just a good old boy.
Top 3 TV theme songs of all time, Dukes of Hazzard. Happy 65th birthday to John Schneider. Deborah, I've interviewed one of the Duke brothers. Was it Schneider that I interviewed or the other? Or
No, you did Wolpat. Yeah, you did the other one, unfortunately.
All right. Anyway,
I haven't been able to get Schneider on.
Like, how can I play that again? Like, how good this came on? Was it Friday night? This Connecticut Yankee heard that coming out of the TV, and I ran down there. Loved that show. Boss Hogg, Daisy, Uncle Jesse, and such a great theme song. Anyway, happy 65th birthday to John Schneider. All right, check the markets. They just opened. Oh, geez, Louise. All right, they're down. The Dow's down 350 points, but now it's up 1,000 points. Just like that. NASDAQ's up 485, S&P's up 138. A reminder, in less than an hour, Clark Howard's going to join us live. Really the first time we've gotten to sit down with Clark one-on-one and talk about the tariffs, the economic uncertainties, and what we need to be thinking about with our retirement plan. So if you have to dip out, make sure you're back at 10:35. Clark Howard is going to join us live, and obviously we'll update the markets in the green right now, which is great news. After what we've been dealing with the last couple of days, great news to see a surge at the open of the bell on Wall Street. All right, joining us on this beautiful Tuesday morning, it's our correspondent, Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning. If you're a fan of crime dramas, you know how important it is when they get to the scene, like, we got to dust for prints, we got to check for fingerprints. A new breakthrough, perhaps, when it comes to artificial intelligence that maybe tells us that not all of our fingerprints are ours alone. Am I reading this story right?
Yeah, and you really got to listen carefully to just how you describe that there, because it's not necessarily that my fingerprints are the same as yours. What this new research is finding, thanks to folks over at Columbia Engineering, is that they can do a pretty good job of connecting different fingerprints from the same person. So when we think that each of our fingerprints, the 10 of them, are all different, in fact, AI now shows that many of them have a lot of connecting cross characteristics that could link them all back to the same suspect.
Interesting. All right, so it's still the snowflake theory that fingerprints are different, but AI is being used in this Columbia Engineering study to do what exactly? What would he learn from this?
Right. You're the snowflake here. In that, so let's just do a scenario where I commit a crime and my pinky print is left at the scene. But back in one of my days as a reporter, I had to get Secret Service clearance to go to see the president, and they took my thumbprint. Well, now with AI, if both those prints are in the system, you might be able to link with 77% probability that pinky and that thumb are somehow connected, and that can get you back.
So that actually can help law enforcement authorities.
Correct. Now, it's not enough right now to be evidence itself, but it certainly can help, identify new suspects or eliminate others. So it could be a tool here in the tool belt. So imagine Mark Harmon just saying, we only got a partial. But maybe AI could help one day make those connections.
So interesting. So Rory, I don't have much fingerprinting experience. So when you usually get fingerprinted, like when you were for the Secret Service, do they do all 10 digits, or is it just the thumb, just the forefinger? Like how much data is available?
Honestly, I don't remember that because, from back in the days of when they would do that, when you'd be in the pool and things. But yeah, I mean, even now, some airports around the world, they'll take either fingerprints or palm prints and it really is using the same kind of technology in AI that is used for facial recognition. What's interesting is that you really do a deep dive into how this AI is reading these prints. It's very different from how we've traditionally read fingerprints, and that's why AI is able to pick up on these subtle similarities, even though they come from different fingers.
Beloved correspondent Rory O'Neill joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. I'm going to take this a step further. Could this, maybe crack some cold cases where they only got the partial and they couldn't match it up? Now, through AI, could they take that partial and maybe extrapolate and find out, this might be the suspect?
That's a real possibility and something that they want to expand this on, because this was a study using just 60,000 sets of fingerprints. But they think that with enough data going into this, they could do a lot more of that kind of research. But for right now, this would not be admissible in a court of law as evidence, but it certainly would would help investigators get some new leads.
Goodness gracious. AI certainly is a game changer. Rory, fascinating story, buddy. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm sure I've been fingerprinted more than once in my life. Deborah, when you go to a foreign country, do you have to do anything like that, or you get your passport done?
I remember having to do facial recognition at some airports, but when we were in elementary school, we had to do a fingerprint thing, and we thought it was cool, like, oh, just in case you get kidnapped. Like, no, they just want your information in the system ahead of time in case you become a criminal.
Is that how they sold it to you? Hey, in case you get kidnapped.
Yeah, because it was in the 80s. And yeah.
I don't remember that. All right, so I'm going to be brutally honest. The only time I remember getting fingerprinted, and I'm sure I've told this story before, it was, I don't know, 15 years ago, and someone at WSB Radio or Radio Adjacent was having their bachelor party, and we went out to dinner, and the guy who was getting married was like, I want to go to the shoe show. I'm going to keep this clean for Longoria's got his daughters behind the takeout window. So it was shoe show, right?
Yeah,
we all know what I'm saying. So I was like, I mean, I went to the shoe show. And because it was this our friend's bachelor party, I was like, all right, I'm not going to be the killjoy here. So we went to the Pony Shoe Show on Beaufort Highway. And I didn't have a ton of cash on me because I didn't think we were going to the shoe show. You know, I didn't have a brick of ones or anything. All I had was my credit card. And, you know, so the guy whose bachelor party it was, you didn't want to have him to pay for everything. So I was like, all right, I'll pay for some of the shoe show. And so I bring out my credit card, and they're like, oh, if you use your credit card, we have to fingerprint you. And I said, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, I don't want to give. She's like, the matron of the shoe show, not one of the performers, was like, we've had too many dudes come to the shoe show and rack up a huge bill on the credit card and then dispute it. So now we get fingerprints, so there's no way you can, you know, call up Amex and be like, I wasn't at the shoe show. I don't even like shoe shows. So I got fingerprinted, of all places, at the Pony. And that if I ever get arrested, the Pony is gonna show them my thumbprint. It wasn't a full set of prints. They didn't take a mugshot or anything.
Yeah, they didn't bring in the police.
It was a thumbprint, and I had to give my thumbprint to use my credit card at the I can't. It's killing me. I can't remember whose bachelor party it was. It must have been someone I liked for me to be like, yeah, all right, fine. We'll go to the shoe show. That might have been the last time I went to the shoe. I'm like, well, it's a whole new ball game right now. They're fingerprinting you. Wonder, again, I'm not lying. That might have been the last time, and it was 15 years ago. What's the deal? Are you allowed to have your cell phone out, your smartphone out in shoe shows now?
Oh.
Right, because there's a camera on it.
Yeah.
What's the protocol? Do you have to? Is there a lockbox? Like, hey, everyone, put your phone in.
Like the school pouches.
Well, just because the privacy issue, right? If we've covered those upskirt stories where dudes go into the Walmart bathroom and take upskirt photos, and I'm sure that the performers at shoe shows, like they don't want their pictures popping up everywhere. I wonder what. Someone knows. Give Gnocchi a call at 404-872-0750. I'm generally curious.
You want me to ask him?
No. Well, unless Gnocchi knows, do you have to check? You don't
I don't know if he's in there.
He's not even old enough.
Oh,
no, I see him. If anyone, again, just you don't have to come on the air. Just let Gnocchi know what's the protocol now when it comes to shoe shows and smartphones. Because I know they wouldn't, in 1999, they wouldn't let you in with a Polaroid to the shoe show and just start snapping pictures away.
Yeah, you definitely can't.
You can't bring your smartphone in?
I mean, you can bring your phone in. I went for my 21st, but no, you're not allowed to.
Well, I know you're not allowed to, but that doesn't mean that people aren't doing it.
I mean, you'll probably get kicked out if they catch you.
Well, let's find out.
Let's go to one right now and bring out your cell phone.
No, let's find out from someone in the business. The owner of Tattletales used to listen to our evening show. He's probably sleeping now, but if you have any knowledge when it comes to smartphones, 404-872-0750. I do want to update this big story. Major decision from the U.S. Supreme Court on President Trump's immigration policies. It has to do with the use of an 18th century law to deport migrants without due process. including to a notorious prison in El Salvador. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland has more.
The court says the administration can resume the deportations using the Wartime Act, which hadn't previously been used since internment in World War II. But the High Court did impose limits, saying the administration will have to begin offering some due process to allow these detainees to challenge the allegations that they're gang members. That could take the teeth out of using the Alien Enemies Act, which allowed the administration to expedite the deportations.
So kind of a win-win, I think, for both sides on that, Scott McFarland in D.C. So the Supreme Court says, yes, you can use that 18th century law to deport folks because, according to the president, we're wartime right now. It's a wartime. So they gave the nod to that, but they also said you can't just willy-nilly do it and deport them without due process. Obviously, the big case was the mistaken, they thought this guy was in a Venezuelan gang because of his Michael Jordan tattoo or whatever, and they deported him, and now, he was innocent. He was here legally, and now he's in an El Salvadorian prison, and we can't get him back. So I would say a win for President Trump that, yes, he can use that 18th century law, but also a win for those that have been filing these lawsuits saying there has to be some sort of due process. So a really big story here yesterday from the Supreme Court. Big story right now is going to be a travel advisory on I-285 live with the latest. Here's Mike Shields.
And Mark, as I speak, things changing for the better. A stalled vehicle that was in the second left lane, then they blocked multiple center lanes, pushing it to the right shoulder right now, and all lanes reopening. I-285 eastbound, the outer loop at Flat Shoals, exit 48. Slow, though, as you leave I-675. This report is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
All
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
I know we just started spring, but already Maya and I have turned on the AC in our house a couple of times. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. We are going to use our AC a lot this summer. I'm sure you will as well. Great new deal from my friends at Reliable. Check this out, folks. Get any size air conditioning, any size AC, just $69.99 a month. Zero down payment, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Yes, any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments. Don't go into another sweltering summer with your old AC unit. Get a new one from my friends at Reliable. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button, or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
Guys, if you're having ED or performance issues and Viagra and Cialis haven't worked, you need to come see Choice Men's Health. Give us a call or visit us online at choicemenshealth.com. Get your love life back and choose Choice Men's Health.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, and this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's Y-O-U-R wealth.com.
Has your pest control company told you they won't be coming inside anymore and they raised their prices? Mark Aram here for my bug and critter company, Breda Pest Management. They protect the outside and inside of your home. It's the bugs inside you want gone. So if your pest company is doing less and charging more, you need Breda. Get started at BREDApest.com.
Breda, afraid of bugs.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I want to stress once again that trade wars and tariffs have no winners, and protectionism has no way out. Chinese people don't make trouble, but aren't afraid of it.
That is the translator for Lin Jian, Chinese foreign spokesperson through a BBC interpreter. China's reacted with, quote, belligerence to President Trump's threat to raise tariffs on its imports to more than 100%, saying it would fight until the end. So while President Trump welcomed with open arms the Prime Minister of Israel, and they're to negotiate some tariffs, it looks like we have a full-on trade war cooking right now with China. We'll continue to monitor that, and we're going to monitor the markets, all in the green still. Yes, look at this. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, all up over 3%. Why? I'm not sure. We got a little clarification on the tariffs. Maybe it's investors saying, all right, now's a great time to buy. What should you be doing with the markets in relation to the tariffs? Clark Howard's going to join us live at 10:35. We're going to pick his brain about the tariffs and what all the ups and downs in the markets mean for our retirement funds. So make sure you come back. If you have to dip away, we'd love for you to stay all the way through Clark Howard. But life gets in the way sometimes. You got to go into Chick-fil-A, whatever. But 10:35, make sure you're back here. Clark Howard live on the Mark Arum Show. All right, back to little gnocchi. I've never seen our phones light up, by the way. Apparently, we have a lot of listeners that attend the shoe shows.
Oh, yeah.
What's the general consensus when it comes to smartphones in the shoe show locations?
I mean, kind of the same thing what I said. Yeah, you can have it on you, but once you take it out, you're gone. They're going to...
Well, I mean, but that's the problem. I'm always on my phone. I'll be checking, my fantasy baseball score. I mean, that says a lot about me that if I'm at a shoe show, I'm on my phone checking baseball scores. But even if you have it out, they'll kick you out?
That's what they were saying.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, why would you take your phone out there?
Because I want to check, what's going on
a couple hours.
What's going on Instagram? What's going on Twitter? All right. So you have to keep it in your pocket, otherwise you're out.
Yeah.
Okay, not just getting caught taking a picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of like at trivia, right? Aren't you? If you go to a trivia at a bar,
oh yeah,
you're not supposed to be on your phone.
No,
I don't know. All right, that's why I don't go to shoe shows and I go to trivia because I'm always on my phone. All right, thank you for literally the phones blew up like I've never seen before. Thanks to everyone giving their insight to Little Gnocchi. The markets are up, which is great. What's the deal with gas prices right now with this topsy-turvy economy, Deborah?
We might see some good news at the pump. Crude oil prices have dropped to their lowest in 4 years, which means lower prices when we go to fill up. Now, prices fell to below $60 a barrel, and that price of crude oil is the largest factor in retail price of gasoline, making up more than half of the total cost consumers pay when we go to fill up. Additionally, OPEC decided to accelerate the restoration of its production cuts in May, which will also add more supply to the market.
Yeah, I saw that. So crude oil barrel prices are dropping. And I only know about this, Deborah, is because from watching Landman, the oil industry, Billy Bob.
The sweet spot.
Yeah, there's the sweet spot, right? Like we love it when oil is like $65 a barrel to $85. I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but that's in my head now. Like the oil industry loves the sweet spot. What I don't see is, and maybe it's just a delay. If crude oil is dropping, we should see gas prices dropping, right? You go to the Quick Trip to fill up, those prices, but they've been going up. And I think there was a story on Atlanta's Morning News that we're seeing a rise in gas prices as the providers switch to a summer blend.
The summer blend, yeah.
I don't know what the heck that means, but hopefully if oil prices are going down, we'll eventually see some some relief at the pump. So there you go. All right, Landman. 2 more seasons, right? Didn't it get renewed for
Yep,
2 more
two
seasons?
more seasons.
I still have not yet. I didn't portray Maya yesterday. I have not watched the.
Good for you.
But I got hit with spoilers, man. I think I know who dies in the season finale of
You'll
White
still
Lotus.
watch it, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to take away all the anyway. But I was faithful to Maya. I did not betray her, and I did not watch the season finale of White Lotus without her. So I hope you're proud of me, everyone out there. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. We'll update the markets and a couple of interesting local stories I want to get in, and more on the tariff news. What's European Union going to do? What's China going to do? We'll go in depth when we come back. Social medias are active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Hey Atlanta, you do not want to miss Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge spring break sale. For this week only, you can take 50% off standard carpet cleaning. You heard that right, 50% off standard carpet cleaning. When's the last time you gave your carpets a good look? Quit hiding that stain with a chair. Get your carpets insanely clean for an insanely good price. No one cleans like Zero Res because only Zero Res uses ZR water, non-toxic solution that's tough on stains without the use of heavy soaps. The best part is Zero Res doesn't leave residue behind, meaning your carpets will stay cleaner longer. They don't just make my carpets look like new. Zero Res has over 20,000 reviews and a 4.9 rating on Google. Take advantage of the spring break sale and get 50% off your standard carpet cleaning. Their schedule's filling fast, so secure your 50% off deal before it is too late. Mention me, Chris Chandler, when calling or schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, all they leave is clean.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade with another big update from my friends at MyLend. They've got a new mortgage available to those of you who own a rental home or investment property. This loan allows you to qualify based on the cash flow of the property. That means you don't need to provide your income or employment like a traditional mortgage. It's special programs and industry knowledge like this that keep me talking about the abilities of my friends at MyLend. Whether you're looking to buy a new home, refinance to lower your payment, or need to see how you can access the equity in your home to pay off other debts, do yourself a favor. Call my friends at MyLend. Countless 5-star reviews and testimonials from homeowners just like you. MyLend's been a top mortgage lender in Atlanta and a friend of mine for decades. Give MyLend a call today. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online at smilend.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS in Georgia residential mortgage licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLend is an equal housing lender.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Let's start with your money. The markets are opening in positive territory. The Dow up 1,302 at 39,268 right now. So the Dow's up almost 3.5%. NASDAQ's up almost 4%. And the S&P's up more than 3.5% this morning. But some business leaders are warning that the U.S. economy could take a big hit from sweeping tariffs announced by the president. Christine Romans has more on that.
JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon telling shareholders the situation is one large additional straw on the camel's back. Pershing Square CEO Bill Ackman, a Trump supporter, warning we're heading for a self-induced economic nuclear winter.
A new CNBC survey shows 69% of CEOs expect a recession, while 82% anticipate resurgent inflation. A trade group estimating that, for example, the cost of a pair of tennis shoes made in Vietnam could jump by more than $50 a pair. But so far, President Trump is not backing down. He is threatening to raise tariffs on products from China if that country does not get rid of its tariffs on U.S. goods. All right, your weather for today. What can we expect? Sunny, breezy, and cooler. Highs around 61. Going to be cold tonight, dipping into the 30s, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. A deadly high-speed crash at Peachtree and Piedmont roads involving a vehicle tied to a string of recent robberies.
Police suspect the driver of one vehicle of at least 3 burglaries, including one just an hour before the crash, where employees were pepper sprayed and a cash drawer taken from a Decatur area Chick-fil-A. The car also tied to at least 2 weekend thefts. Atlanta police had spotted the car and attempted a traffic stop, but the driver took off and soon crashed in that busy Buckhead intersection. Both cars heavily damaged, police reporting 1 fatality. The wreck and the robberies still under investigation. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Happening right now, search crews are looking for survivors after a roof collapsed early this morning morning at a nightclub in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. At least 18 people have died, more than 120 injured. It is believed that some people may still be alive, trapped underneath the rubble. Speaking outside the White House this morning, Attorney General Pam Bondi addressing reporters' questions about the Trump administration acknowledging that the accidental deportation of a legal U.S. resident to the Supermaximum security facility in El Salvador happened. Bondi saying this.
That's what these gangs do. They infiltrate our country and they live among us. So to say that he was training to be an electrician does not legitimize him from being a violent gang member.
She went on to say that he is a known gang member and should stay where he is. Meta is aiming to make Instagram safer for teenagers with new safeguards. The tech company announcing this morning that teens under the age of 16 will not be able to use the live feature without their parents' permission. Instagram will also require parental permission to turn off the feature that blurs suspected nudity in direct messages. Meanwhile, Meta will offer teen accounts for Facebook and Messenger that provide similar protections. The company is saying that there are now 54 million teenagers around the world with Instagram teen accounts since it launched last year. It is 10:03. That means it's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. Really only slow through the work zones right now, especially getting into Lawrenceville along Highway 316 eastbound. Cruiser in the right lanes at Sugarloaf Parkway, so you see the brake lights as you're ramping off of I-85. And heads up on the East Freeway, they're out in that work zone. I-20 East between 285 and Wesley Chapel. Barrels out in the right lane, and they're working in the left lane at the collector distributor ramp, getting off of 285 onto 20 East. Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Lots of sunshine today, breezy, high 61. Some frost in the suburbs Wednesday morning, 40 in the city, then high 67.
49 degrees in Johns Creek. It's 48 in Canton. Vinings has 51 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Tuesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole gang with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Lil Gnocchi screens those calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, Clark Howard joining us live. Going to talk tariffs. We're going to talk markets, what it means to our retirement funds. Great insight from our number one consumer advocate, Clark Howard. Again, he joins us live at 10:35. Right after the news at 11, we're going to talk to Steve Lekoff. He's actually in studio. It's tariff-related, kind of, but it's also my ongoing obsession with Japanese mini trucks. Remember when I came back from Tokyo the first time, Deborah? I said, I got to buy one of these Japanese mini trucks. Apparently, there's a way to do it now. Anyway, Steve's going to join us live in studio. And 11:35, Deborah's got more tickets to give away to see Andrea Bocelli at the Gas South Arena on October 11th. I should mention, today is a banner day in Atlanta history. Perhaps one of the greatest moments in Atlanta history, and also perhaps one of the greatest moments on WSB Radio.
There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
Oh, it gives me chills that call, the historic Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth call, was broadcast on this very radio station. That's got to be a top 3 moment on this radio station, right, Deborah? I mean, what, man landing on a moon? Maybe ahead of it, right? Like, what else would be greater than Hank Aaron hitting 7:15? I just got goosebumps listening to it. Anyway, that happened 51 years ago today, April 8th, 1974. All right, checking the markets, still all good news, all in the green. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ all up close to 4%. In fact, NASDAQ is up over 4.3%, which is a huge get back from the losses we've seen the last couple of days. The Dow still just a shade under 40,000. I want to get to that 40,000 point when the markets close. But again, I'm treating the markets, when I'm on the air, I'm going to update you. But when I get off the air, I'm going to treat it like the last 2 minutes of an NBA game. I'm not going to tune in until the very end of the markets because you never know what's going to happen, and it might just give you agita to sit there and watch it all day. Bitcoin, Crypto Bros, good news for you. It's up $1,800. Bitcoin now sitting at 79,930. All right, so the tariff news, obviously very important. Benjamin Netanyahu was meeting with President Trump yesterday to talk about reducing tariffs from Israel to the United States, even though there's a trade surplus we have with Israel and the United States. And I suspect we'll see other world leaders, including the European Union. They made some headlines. They wanted to do a 0-for-0 tariff plan with President Trump if he's open to negotiating that. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But it looks like the only holdout is the Chinese. They gave us tariffs, and President Trump's firing back about 100% tariffs. Mark Stewart from CNN in Beijing this morning.
Despite what the White House may want, China and Beijing is making it very clear that it's not going to budge. And once again today, we saw this shift from diplomatic language to something that's much more defiant. You brought up that phrase, mistake upon mistake. That is some of the language we heard today from China's Ministry of Commerce. And it's taking a very strong stance. In fact, it also went on to say that China will resolutely take countermeasures to safeguard its own rights and interests. As far as what those countermeasures could be, we heard from a state media commentator who brought up the point that we could see more tariffs targeting agriculture, things like soybeans, which we know are so important to American farmers and the broader economy, even restricting or banning American films. We heard at a press briefing just about 4 hours ago from a spokesperson from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The messaging there, very strong, very firm. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Pressure, threats, and blackmail are not the right ways to engage with China. If the U.S. disregards the interests of both countries and the international community, insists on launching a tariff or trade war, China will fight to the end.
Fight to the end. That spokesperson was also asked, would China sit down at the negotiating table with the United States? His response, China has not shown any kind of genuine willingness to have a substantive conversation. John, that's where things stand now, just past 7 o'clock in the evening here in Beijing.
That's Mark Stewart in Beijing earlier this morning. So there's... China is such a behemoth when it comes to what we import, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You're probably wearing something that was made in China, the smartphone in your pocket made in China, your shoes. I mean, there's just so much. And there's a huge trade imbalance. There's no question about it between the United States and China. Deborah, maybe you can check the numbers for me. It's something like almost 10-1. I mean, we do import a lot of stuff to China. But China imports a blank ton of stuff to the United States. There is a big imbalance there. And there's not going to be, there's no simple way for us to produce some of the things that China produces and keep the cost the same. T-shirts, electronics. It's just the wages are so low there. There's just no way you can open up a factory, a T-shirt factory here and keep the price of a T-shirt at $15 that's made in China. You make that T-shirt in the United States, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So I don't see any movement in things like that. We can't negotiate that trade imbalance down. Now, we might be able to chip away at it. There's some things that we can bring back and manufacture here at the United States, and there wouldn't be a market price difference. But there's a lot of things that whether it's China or Taiwan, or they can make things a lot cheaper for us in the United States. But what I do think, and I don't see anyone talking about this, is how we can increase our imports to China, right? What does China want from the United States? There's over 1 billion people in China, right? The most populous planet on the nation. That's a lot of mouths to feed. Think about how difficult it is to feed over 1 billion people. We have 350 million people here in the United States, and we have folks that are food insecure. We're the richest, most prosperous nation on earth, and yet there are people that go hungry every day. So multiply that by 4, and that's what China's dealing with. So if we are going to even out the trade balance between the United States and China, I think it has to be with agriculture products, foodstuffs. Now, there's been a talk about the trade imbalance, and there are certain nations, I think the EU won't import American pork because of something that we add to pig food that is banned in the European Union. So we talked to that reporter in Mexico City the other day. Mexico gets a majority of their pork products from the United States. That's a big partner for us when it comes to agriculture. You know, we import their avocados. They import a lot of our pork products. If there's going to be a balance, a somewhat more balanced trade situation between the United States and China, it's going to come from food we produce, whether it's grain, whether it's corn, whether it's fruits and vegetables, all the stuff. I mean, you think about America's heartland. You think about all the crops grown in California. Heck, all the crops grown here in Georgia, right? We need to increase the amount of food we export to China if we're going to come anywhere close to some sort of balanced trade deal. There are just some things that China provides us that I don't think we could stomach the pain of having to manufacture here in the United States. You look at the cost of televisions. Have you tried to buy a TV lately? They're so cheap. You get a monster TV, like a 50-inch TV, which to me is a monster. I grew up with that little black and white TV in the kitchen as a kid, like the 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch. You get a 50-inch TV and you go to Best Buy or you get them off Amazon, they're like $150. I just don't see how we could bring that manufacturing back to America and not see that TV that costs $150 now to balloon to $650. I saw a video on social media the other day. It was I believe it was a segment on a local television station in the late 80s. And they were talking about the brand new personal computers out. And they had 2 Apple computers that were out on the market. And so again, 1980s. Think about what things cost in 1980. Your mortgage payment, how much a car cost in the 80s, right? Compared to what they are now. Like new cars were like $6,000. You remember Price is Right in the 80s? They had to guess the price of the car. It was like $6,000. So think about that. So there's a commercial for Apple computer in the 80s. And they're like, the cheaper model is $69.99. Not $69.99. $6,999 for an Apple computer in the late 80s. That was the cheaper model with basically no memory, nothing that we have today. And the more expensive model was $9,000. In 1980, that'd be like us buying a computer now for $50,000. Now, I don't think it's going to get to that extreme pricing, but if we can't import our electronics from overseas, specifically China, are you going to swallow it and buy a laptop that now costs, I don't know, $500, and then we have to make it here, and all of a sudden that laptop's $3,500? That big screen TV is $6,000? There are some things that we just cannot take away from China. The sticker price, the sticker shock is just too great. The key is going to be working on the trade imbalance. What can we send to China to even out that trade imbalance? And I think the obvious thing is, the bounty we have, the bounty of food that we can produce here in the United States. Grain, wheat, corn, rice, whatever we got, we need to start exporting more to China to help even up that trade balance. Quickly on the European Union. European Union floats a 0-for-0 tariff resolution to remove industrial fees on U.S. goods. This after the Trump administration imported 20% import levies were imposed last week. Quote, we have offered 0-for-0 tariffs for industrial goods as we have successfully done with many other trading partners. That's the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. She said that yesterday, quote, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. That at a press conference alongside the Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, EU Trade Commissioner Marco Stefanik, of Slovakia said the zero-for-zero arrangement would be applied to chemicals, pharmaceuticals, rubber, plastic machinery, and cars. European officials, however, still haven't ruled out retaliating against Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. So it looks like the EU is ready to negotiate, not on everything, but on things like I just mentioned. Chemicals, pharmaceuticals, rubber, plastic machinery, and cars. That could be a jumping off point. So we'll see where the negotiations lead. China's taken a hard line. European Union seems willing to be more negotiable. All right, I got to refresh so I don't give you the wrong numbers. All right, Mark Arum Show Market Watch. The Dow up 1,300. NASDAQ up 690, S&P up 192. Hopefully your blood pressure's not up from the traffic out there. Let's go live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, and Ashley Frasca.
Thanks, Mark. I don't know if it's ever easy on the East Freeway now. Seeing delays as you come in from I-20 westbound heading Panola Road. I think trouble just moved off to the right there. And, of course, the construction zone as you make the transition off of I-285 onto I-20 East, headed over to Wesley Chapel. They're working in the left lane of that collector-distributor ramp and the right lane of the interstate. Traffic brought to you by the Scott Antique Markets. Is this weekend. There's no telling what you'll find. Visit the Atlanta Expo Centers at 285 and Jonesboro Road, scottantiquemarket.com. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I know we just started spring, but already Maya and I have turned on the AC in our house a couple of times. Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. We are going to use our AC a lot this summer. I'm sure you will as well. Great new deal from my friends at Reliable. Check this out, folks. Get any size air conditioning, any size AC, just $69.99 a month. Zero down payment, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Yes, any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments. Don't go into another sweltering summer with your old AC unit. Get a new one from my friends at Reliable. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button, or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing for the latest in designer architectural shingles. Ask about 0% financing. That's FGA Roofing.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we know most people don't love mattress shopping. In fact, many dread it. And why wouldn't they? Many mattress stores use high-pressure sales techniques like today-only pricing and tout features that don't really offer a benefit. They offer an overwhelming number of options to confuse things even further. At OMF, we do things differently. Our showrooms are easy to navigate, and our sales team actually cares. Our goal is to answer your questions, not pressure you into purchasing. OriginalMattress.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage door should be around to play with the grandkids and talk about the old days when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL.
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly. We think it's the right thing to do. And we're going to also eliminate trade barriers.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday at the Oval Office, his second in-person meeting with President Trump during the second term. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. We'll see if other world leaders head to the White House and try to renegotiate the tariff situation. It seems apparent, though, that the president of China will not be coming to D.C. as China continues to escalate as we get in this one-on-one trade war between the United States and China. Again, checking the markets, everything in the green, everything up. That is fantastic. Hopefully that holds through the rest of the day, the rest of the week, rest of the year. Clark Howard's going to join us live after the news at 10:35. We'll get his take on what the markets have been doing and what we need to do to protect our retirement funds and what he thinks the tariff war will, how it will impact us and how we can insulate us against that. Again, Clark Howard joining us at 10:35. Correct me if I'm wrong, Deborah, but Easter is on the 20th of April, correct?
420 day.
420. Oh, that'll be a very special Easter. With egg prices going up, I've suggested, some people are painting onions and potatoes. I think that's sacrilegious. But I do think that a good Cadbury egg could be a replacement to your Easter eggs. This story is amazing. I believe that they are calling it the world's biggest Cadbury egg. Things that will make your fillings rattle. The world's largest Cadbury cream egg ever.
Terry Collins was one of the two chocolatiers who made the record-sized egg at Cadbury World in Birmingham, England.
It took 2.5 days to make. It's 91 centimeters high and it's 45 kilograms.
That's about 3 feet tall and 100 pounds.
Very heavy, so no one can lift this off.
They made the chocolate egg in two halves, combined the two, then poured in the gooey fondant. Nathan Barnett is the general manager at Cadbury World.
We absolutely are honored to have that here.
It will be on display until April 27th. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
I am very susceptible for impulse purchases at stores. At the Publix will get me at the checkout line, like places like Walgreens and CVS. But it's never more apparent than Easter season when they've got the trays of the Cadbury eggs, the cream egg, the caramel egg, the peanut butter egg. I literally physically cannot leave a store if those come within my line of sight. Biggest impulse purchase in my life are those Cadbury cream eggs. I think they're phenomenal. I love them. I love them so much. All right, Sabrina, Got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, very excited. Clark Howard's going to join us live, your consumer advocate. Going to pick his brain about the tariffs, the market uncertainty, what we need to do to protect our retirement funds, all of that in a bag of chips when we come back. Oh, by the way, I posted my victory picture, getting my winnings from the WSB bracket pool. It's up on Instagram now, at Mark Arum, MarkArum.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Storm season officially here, friends, and it wreaks havoc on your house and your roof. It's Mark Arum here. If you truly want peace of mind about your roof, and for many years to come, ask Dr. Roof about their lifetime warranty. Dr. Roof's warranty means they have your roof covered for the lifetime of your roof, and if anything comes up, Dr. Roof will take care of it. You never have to worry about a thing. They stand behind it since they've been in business for over 35 years. Now that is peace of mind. All the info online at drroof.com.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free sale and pay nothing until 2027. Sale ends soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
If you're in the market as a home buyer or seller, there's a lot of noise out there and a lot of options. Should you find a company to buy your home, or accept a guaranteed cash offer, or do a traditional sale? Each of these has an upside and each has a downside. Hi, I'm Deborah Morton, founder of Clario Real Estate. My team and I can offer all of these, and we help our clients sort through these choices every day. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home in the next 6 to 12 months, we can give you clarity so you can decide with confidence. My team and I are the experts. We have helped hundreds of families move and are ranked in the top 5% nationally. At Clario Real Estate, we can provide clarity on the best approach for you. Oh, and I'm also the real estate expert and host of the show Inside Georgia Real Estate, airing right here every Saturday at 1 p.m. Go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com and tune in this Saturday at 1 p.m. for more. Clario Real Estate, real clarity, real certainty for the real value of your home.
When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. There's new information this half hour on a deadly high-speed crash at Peachtree and Piedmont Roads. It involved a vehicle tied to a string of recent robberies.
After the violent crash, investigators reveal one driver is a suspect in multiple burglaries, including a robbery at a Decatur Chick-fil-A just an hour earlier, where a cash drawer was stolen and employees were pepper sprayed. Atlanta police spotted the suspect car and attempted to make a traffic stop, but the driver took off, leading to a brief pursuit that ended with the suspect colliding with another car. Both vehicles in the crash heavily damaged. The Georgia State Patrol confirms the driver of the other vehicle was killed. The suspect is hospitalized. The crash and robberies remain under investigation. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Sunny and breezy today with an afternoon high of 61, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. Georgia is among the states weighing tax breaks to draw in top college athletes. This year's Final Four men's NCAA basketball tournament featured all number one seeds, but they also had something else in common. In their home states of Florida, Texas, North Carolina, and Alabama, student athletes either already enjoy tax breaks on earnings tied to their personal brands, or the states are working on it. Now, bills like this are also making the rounds here in Georgia and Illinois, but critics raise questions about fairness and favorable treatment of athletes over other students. A number of colleges here in Georgia are near the top in the U.S. News & World Report's latest list of best MBA programs.
The best among Georgia universities, Emory University's Goizueta Business School ranks 17th in the country. Scheller at Georgia Tech comes in number 21. UGA's Terry Business School is number 29. Clark Atlanta's Business School is number 96 on the list. The rankings are based on career success, student excellence, and other qualitative assessments by experts. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Well, companies now have a new threat: fake job candidates. Scam artists are using artificial intelligence to create fake IDs, resumes, and work history that look real and even answer questions once they're hired. An imposter can install malware to demand a ransom from the company or steal its customer data, trade secrets, or even money. Cyber experts saying that the rise of AI-generated profiles means that by 2028 globally, 1 in 4 job candidates will be fake. Delta Airlines will release its first quarter results tomorrow.
Delta warned last month that profit could drop as domestic demand softens. Savvy Sith is an airline analyst at Robert W. Baird.
In February, you saw a slowdown in demand, and I think it was just a reaction to the policy uncertainty. 1Q was also a tough period in terms of weather for consumers as well.
She's got a strong buy rating on Delta. The quarterly report comes as analysts at Bloomberg Intelligence say economic uncertainty is hurting domestic demand, though lower fuel prices will aid results. In New York, Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, stocks are rising on Wall Street after the straight sessions of major volatility due to sweeping tariffs were announced by the White House. So let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow is currently up 1,371 at 39,336. So the Dow's up almost 4%. NASDAQ's up more than 4%, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather brought to you by American Crawl Space Solutions. Here's Ashley Frasca.
Thanks, Sabrina. Got a travel advisory into Lawrenceville because of road work knocking out 2 right lanes on 316 eastbound at Sugarloaf Parkway, so you may want to use Duluth Highway instead. And just spotted a breakdown on the jam cam. That's in the right lane of 75 south at Barrett Parkway, causing a few brake lights past KSU and through Kennesaw. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Sunny, breezy, and cool today. High 61. Cold tonight, although 40 in the city. Low to mid-30s, even some upper 30s in the suburbs. A little frost to start the day Wednesday, then sunny with a high of 67.
It is 51 degrees in Roswell, 50 in Dallas. Lithia Springs has 52 degrees. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
We're not looking at that. We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals.
President Trump in the Oval yesterday discussing the tariff situation, how it impacts us, how the markets impact our retirement funds. Clark Howard joins us live in studio 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show. So many different seasons here in Metro Atlanta. It's pollen season, severe weather season, tax season, etc., etc., etc. Let me add a new season. Regrow your hair season. Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my pals at Advanced Hair. Amazing facility, amazing physicians, and even better, amazing results. Quick, simple, one-day treatment, and your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. Not a pill or a lotion that helps you just keep what you have on your head. Where your hair's gone, it regrows thanks to my friends at Advanced Hair. Unbelievable. If you want your hair back now, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. Just takes one visit, but first, guys, you need a free consultation. Schedule now. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Advancedhair.com.
When it comes to beautiful, they wrote the book. Siding, paint, windows, and doors gives your home a brand new look.
At Superior Pro, we use the highest quality materials and the best techniques in windows, siding, painting, doors, and more. Plus, all our projects come with an extended labor warranty. Visit SuperiorPro.com for a free in-home design consultation.
Superior Pro, the pros to know.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kid sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Spring storms can dump a lot of rain in a short amount of time, flooding your crawl space and generating mold. Dry it out with American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value for crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations too.
10:37 on this fast-moving Tuesday news day. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Coming up in an hour, Deborah's got some more tickets to give away to see Andrea Bocelli at the Gas South Arena on October 11th. As we've been doing for the last week or so, monitoring the markets. The news good on Wall Street so far this morning. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up over 3%. Has not been the case, though, since Liberation Day last Wednesday. Very excited to have us joined in studio live by the number one consumer advocate of all time, the Hank Aaron, if you will, of consumer advocates.
Well,
Clark Howard. How are you, Clark?
That's a little bit of an exaction, linking me with the great, the wonderful, and he was such a fine man, Hank Aaron.
51 years ago today, he broke Babe Ruth's record. Were you at Fulton County Stadium for that game?
No, I didn't live in Atlanta then. I lived in the north. So
Yankee.
I know, like you. I was not in the tri-state area.
There you go.
I was in Maryland.
Clark, thank you so much for giving us time in these uncertain times. The tariff upheaval we've seen in the markets. Let's start with your general take on the broad tariffs that were announced last Wednesday.
Economic suicide. There's nothing else to call it. I don't care what spin anybody puts on it. Every time in modern history, going back to the 1800s, where a country has imposed massive tariffs, the country that imposes them ends up hurting itself so badly. And we are causing hurt for other countries, but they'll get by it. They'll get around it. We will suffer immensely, and we will end up a less wealthy country as a result of it, and a lot of Americans will suffer from it. What you're seeing happen today with the stock market is it's already clear that there's now a lot of dissension within the Trump administration and on Capitol Hill among Republicans about this. And so what are we hearing yesterday from the president alluding to, and today from several people, that they're going to be able to make great deals with other countries. So this is going from the president last week talking about this was a forever thing to, oops, that's not working, is it? And so President Trump is so smart politically, and he will make face-saving deals with various countries, and it'll be like this never happened. But there has been harm already from it because, let's face it, other countries don't trust us right now, and that will have consequences. But the idea, this false nostalgia the president had, that he was going to be able to impose these and turn the U.S. into what economists used to refer to, I don't know if people do now, as an island market, where we don't do business with other countries and they don't do business with us, is brutal. I mean, if you want a recent example, look at the severe economic decline in Great Britain from Brexit.
Once they got out of the EU.
Right.
Yeah.
It has been, I mean, it's been a poverty event for so many people in Great Britain. We live in a totally different world than we used to. But even if you go back to the 1890s, we had a depression because of the U.S. imposing tariffs. And they were like, oops. And then we caused the intensity of the Great Depression that is partially responsible for World War II by tariffs that the U.S. imposed in 1930, 32, I forget which year.
It was, significant. The impact was significant. We've seen it historically.
1930, yeah.
Yeah, it was 1930. Clark Howard live in studio. So I'm hearing maybe some optimism in your voice.
Well, that's why the market has been gyrating.
Yeah.
Remember, there was just the rumor of
Yeah,
a
it was
delay in
crazy
the
yesterday.
tariffs, and the market went skyrocketing. And then when they said, no, there's no pause, and then the market came crashing down again. If we stay this course with tariffs on the rest of the world, and we tell the rest of the world we want nothing to do with them, the economic decline that we'll suffer over time is shocking.
Yeah.
I just want you to think about Argentina. I don't know if you know the history of Argentina. They were wealthier than we were 95 years ago, and they went to a protectionist regime with the rest of the world, and they're now one of the poorest countries in the world as a result of that 95 years later, with enormous political instability over the decades from doing this 95 years ago.
I don't want us to become Argentina. But that being said, with tariffs still in flux, for the folks listening here in the metro area, what should we be aware of as a consumer? What should we be buying or not buying now? How can we tariff-proof our households?
So the first thing you do is you don't blow your finances apart by thinking, oh, I got to buy this now and that now and the other now.
Yeah.
And run and buy a new car when my car is working just fine. Or oh, man, look what's going to happen to iPhones. You know, iPhones going up, the rumors $400, $500, $600 an iPhone. We don't know what number it's going to be. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how Apple is going to absorb the cost increases versus passing them on. If your iPhone's working fine, use your iPhone. Don't go spend money unnecessarily. But the key to your question is that because of the probability that this has created an economic slowdown in the U.S. or a recession, even if the president now backs down on the tariffs, you need to prepare for the possibility that you go into work and you don't have a job anymore. So you pay down debts in your life and you build up rainy day money so that you can carry yourself for a period of time of unemployment. If you're a business owner, and we're seeing this throughout American business, particularly small businesses, they were going to open a new location, and they say, whoa, wait a minute. Be careful with new initiatives right now. You want to have a reserve of funds like you would when we would go through a tougher economic cycle. It may be that if the president really does the face-saving deals with countries over the next couple of weeks, that the harm will be transitory and we won't have a recession, because we had a very strong economy and very good employment numbers coming into this. So, yeah, it'll cause a slowdown, but it may not cause a serious slump if the president takes a mulligan on this, since he loves golf, a mulligan on this pretty quickly.
Clark Howard live in studio on the Mark Arum Show. I want to move to what has been the hot topic from our listeners, retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs. Obviously, if you're 22, this really doesn't impact you. This could be a great opportunity for you to dollar cost average. But the folks that are my age and older, getting closer to retirement, your advice to them, what we've seen the market do in the last week and a half.
So you think about age 50 and above being the point at which people start thinking, hey, I want to retire someday. I'm on a glide path. I hope to retire. And so that's when the mix of investments in your portfolio, how you have your money, becomes really important. Over the last many years, a lot of people who shouldn't have in their 50s and particularly in their 60s were way too heavily invested in stocks, tech stocks, were too narrowly focused. And this is an important reminder about how, as you close in on retirement, you still need stocks as a significant part of your portfolio, but not all of your portfolio, and not heavily concentrated in one sector or another, your money diversified. Give you an idea, I'm 69, I'll turn 70 in June.
Nice.
So but I'm still working. I'm going to keep working till I don't know where I'm going when I get in the car. And so I have about a third of my money in international.
Okay.
I have about 35% of my money in bonds, and then the remainder is in U.S. stocks. Now, that's not a recommendation.
Market
anybody.
index. Like that?
Yeah,
okay.
all index funds.
Yeah.
I don't own individual stocks because what I do for a living,
Same.
It would be inappropriate. But having wide diversification, I'm not down any horrible amount of money since the tariff talk started weeks and weeks ago.
That's fantastic. I want to ask this question because I know there are folks that are closer to retirement than I am, and this has been stunning and shocking.
Right.
The question I have is, at what age can you start withdrawing without penalty from 401ks or IRAs?
401k, depending on the employer plan, 55, but for everybody, 59 and a half.
Okay.
But you don't want to withdraw. You just want to
understood.
change the mix. And what happens in a case like this, if the president sticks with this too long and you end up not being able to retire exactly when you wanted to, it's not going to be like the end of the world. It might mean you work a little longer, but you don't just on a wing and a prayer retire when you don't have enough money there.
Interesting. All right, so 50. That's younger than I thought it was. I've slowly moved into bonds, and I know you say don't try to time the market, but I tried to time the market a couple weeks ago, and I moved some from the stock index fund into the bond fund. So
okay,
it worked out for now. Knock on wood.
Yeah, but what you don't want to miss is you don't want to miss the climb
jump.
back.
I know.
You're at the very young end of people starting to think about retirement, so stocks remain ultra important for you. And even if you and our employer plan, we have a really good target retirement fund set up. If you just went all in on that, they'll handle.
That's what I do.
They'll handle the ratios for you going forward. And really, all your money, if you're going to do target retirement fund, all your money should be target retirement fund.
Yeah, that's well. I have two separate ones from our old company's 401k, and the new one has.
So
that.
one of them you play with a little, and the other you do target retirement fund.
Clark, I cannot thank you enough for coming in live in these turbulent times, giving us your opinion on the tariffs and what's going on with the markets. All the information, folks, you need, of course, is online at Clark.
I'm going to make you late for 1 second.
Go ahead.
I want to say something. A lot of people hear me or hear anybody talk about anything like this, it's economics, from their political world they live in. And when they're on social media, when they're looking at cable news and all that, they're looking strictly from the perspective that they're seeing on social media, they're seeing on political-oriented cable news. This is an economic story. This is not one that you should say, oh, well, that person must be this party or that party or whatever. This is raw economics, which is why you see people across the political spectrum who are involved in big business, that are involved in economics, involved in finance, saying this is not a good idea. So take off your political lenses when you think about this and when you hear about this, and know that history shows clearly this is a very, very dangerous thing to indiscriminately place tariffs on other countries.
Wise words, as always. Clark, again, thanks so much. Clark.com for all the information you need in these economic, stressful times. If you want to hang out afternoon, we'll grab lunch on me, buddy. And I'm not talking about a Costco hot dog.
I wish I could. I'm going to Europe today, and I'm really curious how I'm going to be treated as an American
my wife's in Switzerland right now, and she says it's been fine. So
good.
Enjoy your trip in Europe. All right, Clark, we got to check traffic if Clark's getting to the airport for his European vacation. How are the roads now, Ashley Frasca?
Just a little bit crowded on the downtown connector on 7585 southbound, getting down to William Street. Unusual delays, though, on the east side perimeter as you make your way up from East Ponce and Church Street on 285 north. Look out for debris in the right lane at La Vista. And travel advisory continues into Lawrenceville because road crews are in two right lanes on Highway 316 eastbound at Sugarloaf Parkway. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in Amco just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to Amco.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned Amco near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
Guys, if you're having ED or performance issues and Viagra and Cialis haven't worked, you need to come see Choice Men's Health. Give us a call or visit us online at choicemenshealth.com. Get your love life back and choose Choice Men's Health.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, and this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
How do I know I'm ready for air conditioning season? Well, the good people at Ragsdale Heating and Air say I am after my preventive maintenance visit, so I know it's right. This is Scott Slade. You know, many Ragsdale employees have been with them for 10, 20, even 30 years. And because they know their business and know your home system so well, they solve small problems before they become big ones. Like the filter I forgot to change. And my tech didn't make me feel bad about it at all. He replaced it with a smile. You ought to get to know Ragsdale with spring in the air and summer days coming. Right now, you could take up to $1,700 off a brand new Carrier home comfort system. And that comes with Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty. And if your current system needs attention before the summer heat, then Ragsdale Heating and Air has just what you need, a $79 AC tune-up. You can trust Ragsdale for plumbing and electrical work, too, when you go to ragsdaleair.com or call them. With more than 10,000 reviews and a 4.9 Google rating, more folks are discovering what I know. Ragsdale is the name I know you can trust.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
10:55 on the Mark Aram Show. Great stuff there with Clark Howard. If you missed it, I think you can hit rewind on the WSB radio app or check out the podcast after the show. Longoria posted. By the way, Longoria, when you post today's podcast, click on Facebook, the do not comment thing. So
I think I do that every
Yeah, yesterday you didn't.
Yesterday, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, it's fine. I love that you post the podcast. The podcast is available 24/7, as is the WSB radio app. Clark giving his opinions on the market. Still in the green. Good news. Dow, S&P 500, NASDAQ, all up 3%. So finally some positive news when it comes to Wall Street. And maybe positive news for me. I have been obsessed since the first time I got back from Japan. Deborah, you were here with me, and I came back, and not only was I raging about the food in Japan and the culture, but I came back obsessed with those little mini Japanese pickup trucks. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And
yes, like you saying you were going to get one.
I 100% wanted to get one, but I kept running into roadblocks because I couldn't find out if they were legal to drive these. I mean, they're cars. They're legitimate cars, but they're just little tiny cute pickup trucks. And I couldn't find out if they were legal to drive on the Atlanta roads. Apparently, there has been a ban on these in the state of Georgia. So thankfully, I didn't purchase that little Japanese mini pickup truck when I came back from Tokyo 5 years ago. But there might be a shift on that ban, which is timely because we were talking about tariffs and imports and et cetera. So when we come back, Stephen Leckhoff's going to be in studio. We're going to talk tariffs between us and Japan, the Asian auto markets, and maybe those little adorable Japanese mini pickup trucks could be available for me to drive or you to drive or anyone to drive. So that's coming up after news, weather, and traffic. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's what welcomes people to your home, and first impressions are everything. Your front door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. We're the experts for every opening in your home. Not only your garage door, but your windows and your front door too. Replace your dated single front door with a gorgeous double door. No matter the size of your entrance, we can customize and install the double doors of your dreams. Make your front door grand. Get started at all4seasonsgarages.com.
Is your heating and cooling system so old you can't remember when it was installed? If so, it's time to get protection from Reliable Heating and Air. Hey, friends, it's Mark Arum. Check this out. Let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just coverage for your aging AC and heating systems. Get all the information you need online at reliableair.com.
If you're in the market as a home buyer or seller, there's a lot of noise out there and a lot of options. Should you find a company to buy your home, or accept a guaranteed cash offer, or do a traditional sale? Each of these has an upside, and each has a downside. Hi, I'm Deborah Morton, founder of Clario Real Estate. My team and I can offer all of these, and we help our clients sort through these choices every day. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home in the next 6 to 12 months, we can give you clarity so you can decide with confidence. My team and I are the experts. We have helped hundreds of families move and are ranked in the top 5% nationally. At Clario Real Estate, we can provide clarity on the best approach for you. Oh, and I'm also the real estate expert and host of the show Inside Georgia Real Estate, airing right here every Saturday at 1 p.m. Go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com and tune in this Saturday at 1 p.m. for more. Clario Real Estate. Real clarity, real certainty for the real value of your home.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the next generation Xfinity 10G network. Stocks are rebounding on Wall Street this morning after a volatile day yesterday. President Trump is making new tariff threats against China, and overnight, Beijing vowing to, quote, fight to the end. Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady has more.
The S&P 500, a two-day loss of over 10%. Happened last week. It's only happened 4 times in the history of the stock market, and you see over the 5 years after that 100% return. So some people are looking at this and saying good buying opportunity, but yes, we could have one little thing, as we saw yesterday, that comes out from the White House or one of our trading partners that sends us all the other way.
All right, so far so good, though. We're in the green. The Dow's up 1,000 at 38,965. So the Dow's up almost 3%. NASDAQ is up more than 3%, and the S&P is up more than 2.5%. Your weather for today, sunny and breezy. Afternoon highs around 61, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. New information this morning on a deadly crash in Buckhead.
Police suspect the driver of one vehicle in at least 3 burglaries, including one just an hour before the crash where employees were pepper sprayed and a cash drawer taken from a Decatur area Chick-fil-A. The car is also tied to at least 2 weekend thefts. Atlanta police spotted the car and attempted a traffic stop, but the driver took off and soon crashed into another car in that busy Buckhead intersection. The driver of the other car was killed. The suspect now hospitalized and facing multiple charges. The wreck and the robberies are still under investigation. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
New here at 11, the city of Milton is looking to improve transportation in that city.
Calling it Safety in Action and using $1 million in federal funding, the city of Milton wants to make its streets safer for all citizens, drivers, bikers, and pedestrians alike. The 3-part plan includes a look at how accessible properties are in the city to anyone with disabilities. Part 2 will examine how to reduce crashes at the city's roundabouts. The last goal is to check road safety on Freemanville and Hopewell roads to see if warnings about curves are needed. The public will be invited to participate through outreach events and meetings. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
And while we're talking about driving, more teenagers are putting off getting their driver's license. Nearly 40% delayed getting a driver's license by 1 to 2 years, 30% delayed by more than 2 years, according to a 2020 study from the University of California, Irvine Medical School. Researchers say it's not clear why, but there may be several reasons for the delay. One could be social media. Teenagers can connect with their friends through the phone without ever leaving the house. Happening right now, at least 18 people dead, 120 hospitalized after a roof collapsed at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Crews are searching for people who may be trapped underneath the rubble. A number of Georgia colleges are near the top in the U.S. News and World Report's latest list of the best MBA programs. The best among Georgia universities, Emory coming in at number 17. Georgia Tech comes in at 21st. And then the University of Georgia's Terry Business School is number 29 on this list. The rankings are based on things like career success and student excellence. Got your Mega Millions ticket? Tonight's Mega Millions is the first with those big changes that we told you about last week. The tickets cost more, $5, and the odds of winning are a little bit better.
The jackpot odds improved slightly from 1 in 303 million to 1 in 290 million. The jackpots now start at $50 million instead of $20 million.
Michael Wallace reports the $5 ticket now gets you a built-in multiplier, which increases non-jackpot prizes as many as 10 times. You can catch that drawing live tonight at 11 on Channel 2. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams, good morning. How are we looking on the roads?
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Seeing a little bit of construction out there now that the sun is back out. We got it in Gwinnett County, 316 eastbound, leaving I-85 out towards Sugarloaf Parkway. Just a left lane open there, so you're slow from I-85 trying to make the commute into Lawrenceville. Just found a new work zone leaving Stone Mountain, Highway 78 westbound, Mountain Industrial Boulevard, exit 4 there in the left lane there. And in DeKalb County, you got the left lane construction on the I-20 eastbound collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. And the right lane of the through lanes of the interstate also blocked in the same area. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz with Atlanta's most accurate and dependable weather forecast. Lots of sunshine today, breezy, high 61. Some frost in the suburbs Wednesday morning, 40 in the city, then high 67.
It is 53 degrees in Marietta. Loganville has 55, and it's 53 here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
You know I run this town to be near you.
11:05 on this magnificent Tuesday morning. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. 30 minutes from now, the lovely and talented Deborah Green is going to give away tickets to see the lovely and talented Andrea Bocelli, Gas South Arena, October 11th. Your chance to win those tickets coming up in 30 minutes. Obviously, we're hyper-focused on the market, still in the green, still all good news. Checking right now, the Dow's up 1,000. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up close to 3%, reversing some of the troubling trends we've seen in the last 5 days of trading. We'll continuously keep you posted on the market markets. And great breakdown last half hour. If you missed it, make sure you check out the podcast or rewind on the WSB radio app. Clark Howard was in studio after the news at 10:35. His take on tariffs and maybe more importantly, how we can protect our retirement funds from the volatility on Wall Street. Great stuff, as always, is Clark Howard. I mentioned before the break, the first time I came back from Japan, obviously I loved it. The food, the culture, the scenery, it was amazing. But I was absolutely fascinated by these little mini Japanese trucks. They were just, I'd never seen them before, and they're all over the streets of Tokyo and in rural Japan. And I said to my wife, I said, I need one of those Japanese mini trucks. So I came back here fully prepared to buy one, but there were a number of hurdles, including the legality of the trucks on the road, so I didn't do it. Fast forward to 2025, and maybe better news for Japanese mini truck lovers like me. Joining us live in studio is Stephen Lekoff. Stephen, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for having me.
All right. So first of all, this is very selfish of me to have you come in, knowing my fascination with these Japanese mini trucks. I didn't know the backstory on their legality here in the state of Georgia, whether we could import them, whether we could sell them, whether we could drive them on the roads. Why couldn't I get one of those mini trucks easily 5 years ago?
Well, for a long time you could.
Okay.
And then a couple years ago, the Department of Revenue put a hold on all registrations of mini trucks. And in fact, they would remove or withdraw or cancel existing registrations. So you had people who had these mini trucks that all of a sudden couldn't drive them on the road. They were getting notices from the Department of Revenue. And that's what made things very, very difficult.
Why? What was the cause of that?
They said it was because of safety, that it wasn't, they didn't comply with the Clean Air Act or the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration,
okay.
and so they were canceling registrations. Interestingly, there was a conflict in the law that allowed them to do this, but for years it was not a problem. They didn't use that conflict, and then they started applying it to cancel these registrations.
And so that's where we stand right now. They are not legal to drive on Georgia roads?
As of this moment, that's true. However, a bill did just pass in the
Nice.
last week legislative session.
Sine die.
That's it. They are going to allow these trucks back on the roads. Now, there are some restrictions on the roads that they can be used on. It's only municipality and county roads, so not, Interstate 285.
So I
You
can't
wouldn't
take
want
the
one.
mini truck. What about 80? I'm trying to think of my commute in the morning. If I do buy one, can I get on I-85? No, I got to take the back roads?
Yeah, ask the traffic folks for the back roads.
All right. So that's fantastic news. Now, obviously, the timing of you coming in and talking about this is perfect because we're in the middle of this trade war, right? The tariff
Sure.
situation. What's the situation if I do want to go purchase one of these Japanese mini trucks? Do I have to just get domestic inventory here? Can I get them shipped from Japan? Now that we have changed the rules here under the Gold Dome, what's the situation moving forward?
Well, the good news is since the majority of these mini trucks are over 25 years old, they have a smaller tariff. Now, we're still trying to parse through what is that amount and how that works. The federal government, these plans are millions of pages long.
Yeah.
So figuring it out exactly is hard work. But there's a general 25% tariff on vehicles from Japan, but that doesn't apply if the vehicle's older than 25 years old. And these mini trucks, for those that don't know, they're tiny, older,
They're the
efficient
greatest
truck-
looking
like,
things.
Yeah, think
Love
about
'em.
like your florist at the farmer's market, right? They show up with those little trucks. They
Yeah.
pull open the lid, and that's it. It's a cab has the front has room for two people, and the bed is about 6 feet long.
And all right, so for full disclosure, Stephen Lekoff joining us live in studio on the Mark Aram Show. What's your role on this? How do you fit into this Japanese mini truck story?
So it's a great question. So I'm the founder of Lefkoff Law, a local law firm here in Sandy Springs, where thank you. I'll take a star of the show at the end. So we specialize in the representation of car companies. That's dealers, finance, repair, repo, auction, et cetera. And so this is in our wheelhouse. We've had a lot of clients call saying we have inventory of these things and we can't sell them. What do we do? And now that the legislation is changing and has been passed, now they actually can bring them in, they can sell them. The cost, unfortunately for you, Mark, not because of tariffs, but just because now you can drive them or will be able to once Governor Kemp signs the bill,
Yeah.
the cost will go up because now there's going to be that demand that there wasn't
Increased
over the last
demand.
couple years.
Well, then I'm going to erase this show. I don't want people to know how cool these. I want the demand to go down so I can get these. So, but again, when I first came back from Japan, I had to go like on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and I just didn't feel comfortable buying an automobile there. But there are in fact dealerships that will have these on the lot in the local area.
There are some. You kind of have to find enthusiast groups. I mean,
Yeah.
believe it or not, I was on a Reddit group for they're K trucks in Japan. That's what they're called,
Yes.
KEI. And they have 34,000 members on a United States K truck group. There are people all over the country that are obsessed with these little things. And so it's easier to find enthusiasts like that to buy them from. But there are some dealers that specialize in international like that can find them.
Well, shout out those dealers, please, if you have any that you represent and want to or point. If not, then that's fine.
You know, I can't. It's hard to pick and choose dealers over the other. I'll get in
Understood.
some trouble back.
But
at
there
home,
are a
back at
number
the
of
office.
dealerships that would offer these.
There are.
And
There
will
are.
they, now that once Governor Kemp signs this bill, do you foresee them, even with the threat of tariffs and the cost of importation? Because that was another thing I looked at, to how much is it going to cost if I want to buy one in Japan, and it was exorbitant. Do you suspect that more dealers will start putting these in inventory, especially after I've given them so much publicity on the Mark Arum Show?
Yeah, of course. That's the reason. Yeah, I think so, because you know, if you think about it, these are really cheap trucks. That's part of the draw. Is not just that they're tiny and small and efficient and they use less gas, et cetera, but they're also $5,000 to $10,000. So
Yeah.
you have people who could use work trucks, you know, handymen, that kind of stuff, but they can't afford the F-150 or the Chevy
Sure.
Silverado, you know, the $40,000, $50,000 truck. So they can get one of these for $8,000 and now be able to drive it from job to job.
Now, literally, for folks that are unfamiliar with this, and I posted a picture of one on my social media pages, there are, at least the ones I saw in Japan, I mean, zero bells and whistles, right? There's no nav system. There's the ones I saw didn't have air conditioning. You might have an AM radio in there if you're lucky. I mean, these are not luxurious vehicles, right? This is not something you bring to the valet in front of Chops and give them the keys kind of vehicle.
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're paying $6,000 for a truck, you're getting a $6,000 truck.
But it literally warms my heart because I've been dying to have one of these. And I come to work so early. That's fine. I can take the back roads in and enjoy it. So that's phenomenal news. So anything we need to look forward to after the governor signs the bill?
Well, it's House Bill 308. So for anyone that's tracking the bill, it's now ready for the governor's signature. Once it is signed, then a couple codes in Georgia, a couple of statutes will change to adjust for that and allow for what they call miniature on-road vehicles. That's what they're called in the Georgia code. And you could pull that up yourself. You know, any of your listeners can look up what the changes specifically to the law are. But
I just realized I should have asked a broader question. Aside with this House Bill 308, aside from the amazing Japanese mini trucks, are there other vehicles that are now will be legal under that law? I didn't want to just single out the Japanese mini trucks.
there is a definition under the law of miniature on-road vehicles.
Okay.
The vast majority we're talking about are mini trucks.
Okay.
There are some, I guess, weird others, one-off kind of things, but for your listeners, I would say the mini trucks are really.
All right. I didn't want to neglect anything if there was, a German minivan is now legal. I just wanted to make sure that I covered all my bases.
Gotta be fair.
Yeah. All right. Stephen, fantastic news, buddy. I'm so excited. Tell the folks more about your law firm, where we can get in touch with you. And I want to find out where I can pick up one of these Japanese mini trucks after this.
Sure. So Lefkoff Law, like I said, we're up in Sandy Springs, just north of the city of Atlanta. We have a general business practice. We represent businesses all over the state with a focus in the car business. So like I said before, dealers, finance, repair, repo, auction, et cetera. If you have a business that touches the car space, we do general counsel representation for you. You can find us at www.lefkofflaw.com or 404-482-2228. And thanks for having me on, Mark.
Lefkoff, L-E-F, spell it for everybody.
Sure thing.
L-E-F.
LEFKOFFLAW.com.
LAW.com. I wonder, I'm just thinking outside the box, Deborah, if we can get WSB Radio Promotions to maybe buy one of these Japanese mini trucks, throw the WSB logo on it, right?
Mark Arum Show mini truck?
Yeah, a little Mark Arum Show mini. Oh, we can write. Sanjay, can we write that off? Sanjay, if you're listening, hit me on the Piccadilly text line. It's my accountant, Sanjay, at brass.tax. He's doing my taxes right now. If I buy a mini truck for the show, maybe I can write it off.
perfect use of your
There
money.
you go. All right. Stephen, thanks so much, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to check the markets, updates our top local stories, and more tariff news straight ahead. But in the meantime, let's go to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Let's check in with Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Right now, watching a little bit of volume through downtown, 75-85 northbound, seeing some brake lights from University Avenue up toward Freedom Parkway, where a stall has cleared out of a center lane. That debris also cleared into cab, 285 northbound, the outer loop between Lawrenceville Highway and La Vista Road. Don't forget about the construction, 78 westbound, Mountain Industrial Boulevard, exit 4. That's in the left lane. And only a left lane open heading out toward Lawrenceville on 316 eastbound, approaching Sugarloaf Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Zinchi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zinchi Handcrafted Sushi. High quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zinchi Sushi today at your local Publix markets, right by the seafood counter. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms, extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com. Roof.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in Amco just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to Amco.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned Amco near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
Hey folks, it's Shelley Winter here. You know, sometimes they make fun of me around the office because I doze off at my desk while doing show prep. Well, you know why that happened? It's because of a lack of sleep. I have sleep apnea. So if you snore or have sleep apnea also, you're not living life to the fullest. So listen up. I know you're tired, but in all seriousness, this is important. My friends over at Palmetto Sleep are changing lives with a custom-fit oral appliance that stops your snoring and treats sleep apnea. I'm not talking about something you buy out of a supermarket. This is a custom-made for your mouth and covered by your private medical insurance. What I love most is that they do everything from the diagnosis to the delivery of the oral appliance and everything in between. They even provide a take-home sleep study and virtual consults. If you're ready for a great night's sleep, you're ready for Palmetto Sleep. Go to palmettosleep.com. That's palmettosleep.com right now. Don't suffer from another sleepless night. palmettosleep.com.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage doors should be around to play with the grandkids and talk about the old days when all this was just farmland.
Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. You can with Orchard because Orchard puts cash right into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then, your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Let's review. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday number 1. You buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Payday number 2, right there. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL. That's 1-844-421-SELL.
11:21. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Good news continues on the markets. Not as good as it was a half hour ago, but the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up over 2%, reversing some of the loss we've seen. These stocks are moving the most today. Apple, Nvidia, Broadcom, Humana, CVS, Tesla, Supermicro, Marvell, not Marvel, Marvell, and more. We'll continue to monitor the markets throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. But again, my advice, just like an NBA game, don't tune in until the last 2 minutes because that's when you'll find out what is what. I want to update a local story in just a second, but this just popped. Not a local story, but news out of the Pentagon. The Trump administration is unveiling its $1 trillion Pentagon budget. CBS News has learned that at least 9 top military officials have been fired. This includes U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. CBS's Charlie Daggett reports.
Was one of the point people to NATO. So that is a sort of 2-for-1 because it also speaks to a sort of U.S. disengagement with NATO. But let me read the exact statement. This comes from Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell. Secretary Hegseth has removed U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield from her position as a U.S. representative to NATO's military committee due to a loss of confidence in her ability to lead.
Chatfield, the third top female officer to be fired since Trump took office. So we're getting more information about the $1 trillion Pentagon budget. Any new information on that, we will bring it to you live. All right, updating a local story I heard on Atlanta's Morning News. It involves a high-speed chase, but there's way more to the story. Deborah, can you give me the details, please?
A high-speed chase ended in a crash in Buckhead last night. Now, it all started at a Chick-fil-A in Decatur Village. Police responded and found several employees had been pepper sprayed and that the cash was taken from a drawer at the drive-thru. Police tied that car to some other robberies, and when they spotted it, they tried to stop it, but the driver sped away, eventually crashing over at Peachtree and Piedmont. The suspect was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment.
All right, first of all, how dare you, sir? How dare you try to hold up a Chick-fil-A? You're taking a bullet train to hell, my friend. What are you thinking? You're going to rob Jesus's chicken? I've never, ever, in 28 years of covering news here at WSB Radio, ever heard of anyone sticking up a Chick-fil-A? I want the FBI crime stats on this, Deborah. In the history of Chick-fil-A, has there ever been an attempted armed robbery of a Chick-fil-A? It's like holy ground. It's like robbing a Catholic church. What's the jar or whatever where you pass around? Forgive my ignorance. What is that?
The offering?
Yeah, that's like stealing the offering plate from a church. And then to have the audacity. You've been to Chick-fil-A. You see how nice and polite he peppered sprayed the Chick-fil-A employees. What are you, crazy? I'm just disgusted by this story. absolutely disgusted. The audacity to hold up a Chick-fil-A restaurant. By the way, dumb criminal. This will give me an opportunity to play the dumb criminal sound. Vinny, is this a dumb criminal or a smart criminal? All right, first of all, when's the last time you went to Chick-fil-A and paid with cash? Or ever seen anyone pay with cash in Chick-fil-A in the last 5 years? I don't even give my credit card. I order on the app. Touchless transaction. How much cash is going through? Just a dumb criminal. I would have felt better about the crime if the suspect got away with 100 chicken sandwiches. Then I'm like, all right, I guess that kind of makes it. How much cash is in the till these days? I need to follow this story. I need more on this suspect. The only plausible explanation is if this suspect, his child was kidnapped by terrorists, and they said the only way you're getting your kid back is if you hold up the Chick-fil-A. So we had to do it to protect I don't understand. Who's holding up a Chick-fil-A? Dumb criminal. Then a high-speed chase ends in a crash. He's hurt. He's in the hospital now. Deborah, I know I give you a lot of homework, but I want continuous updates on this story.
Continuous.
Yes, continuous. And Tony Thomas from the FBI, I'm giving you a homework assignment, buddy. I want to know the FBI crime stats. This could be a historic crime. Someone actually trying to hold up a Chick-fil-A. Disgusting. Disgusting. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, going up to D.C., President met with the Prime Minister of Israel. We'll check in with CBS reporter Olivia Rinaldi at the White House next on The Mark Arum Show.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries and most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button or call or text 770-594-9969.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, 80% lean Kroger brand ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are $4.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
When it rains, you need to make sure your home is protected from the ground up. That means starting in your crawl space. Water in your crawl space can lead to problems in your house. Crawl space issues? Visit aquaguard.net today and book a free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Sunny and breezy today. A little cooler. Afternoon highs only around 61. Downright cold tonight. Back in the 30s. Some temperatures near freezing in some areas. It could mean trouble for your spring plants. Ashley Frasca, host of WSB's Green and Growing, says you can take steps, though, to get ready.
The most important thing gardeners can do to prepare is just watering plants well the night before a freeze.
And she says it helps those plants recover the morning after any frigid temperatures. Well, as Kentucky deals with record flooding, crews there are getting help from Georgia. The Georgia Emergency Management Agency says its Search and Rescue Task Force 6 has helped rescue 65 people and numerous pets since arriving in Kentucky on Saturday. The task force, trained to deal with a number of emergencies, responded under a mutual aid agreement with Kentucky. Nearly 68 million people in the United States speak a language other than English. And Brian Clark is reporting this morning that there are concerns some of them may not be able to understand emergency weather warnings.
Experts say non-English speakers could be at risk in extreme weather because the National Weather Service has stopped providing translations. A spokesman told the Associated Press the translations are paused because a contract with an AI company that did the translations has lapsed. AI replaced manual translations for several languages in 2023.
Now your money. WSB consumer advisor Clark Howard says in these uncertain times, you may want to make sure that you have a rainy day fund set aside just in case.
So that you can carry yourself for a period of time of unemployment.
And if you are a small business owner,
be careful with new initiatives right now. You want to have a reserve of funds like you would when we would go through a tougher economic cycle.
And he says that it may be that we will not have a recession if the president makes tariff deals over the next few weeks, because he says we had a very strong economy and good employment numbers before, but he says it's always better to be safe than sorry. Companies now have a new threat. Fake job candidates, scam artists using artificial intelligence to create fake IDs, resumes, and work history that look real and even answer questions. Once hired, imposters can install malware to demand a ransom from a company, steal its customer data, trade secrets, and money. Cyber experts say that the rise of AI-generated profiles means that by the year 2028, globally, 1 in 4 job candidates will be fake. And Delta Airlines releasing its first quarter results tomorrow.
Delta warned last month that profit could drop as domestic demand softens. Savvy Sith is an airline analyst at Robert W. Baird.
In February, you saw a slowdown in demand, and I think it was just a reaction to the policy uncertainty. 1Q was also a tough period in terms of weather for consumers as well.
She's got a strong buy rating on Delta. The quarterly report comes as analysts at Bloomberg Intelligence say economic uncertainty is hurting domestic demand, though lower fuel prices will aid results. In New York, Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, so it has been a good day on Wall Street so far. We've been in the green. The Dow now up 829 points at 38,795. So the Dow's up 2%. NASDAQ's up almost 2.5%, and the S&P's up more than 2%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Not a bad day yet out on the roadways either so far, Sabrina. We are seeing a little bit of volume in the work zone in Gwinnett County, 316 eastbound, leaving I-85 over to Sugarloaf Parkway, where only a left lane is getting by. I wouldn't recommend an alternate because you are able to get there with just a little bit of delay. Also, construction continues in the left lane into Cobb County, Highway 78 westbound, Mountain Industrial Boulevard. And over on the west side, I-20 eastbound, just some volume, 20 eastbound from Riverside Parkway, approaching those ramps to I-285. That's the west side perimeter. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Sunny, breezy, and cool today. High 61. Cold tonight, although 40 in the city. Low to mid-30s, even some upper 30s in the suburbs. A little frost to start the day Wednesday. Then sunny with a high of 67.
It is 54 degrees in Canton, 53 in Woodstock. Sandy Springs has 54 degrees right now. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 north.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
We are going to eliminate the tariffs
and rapidly.
That's the Israeli Prime Minister yesterday after meeting with President Trump. What did they discuss? And perhaps some breaking news involving Iran. We'll check in with White House correspondent Olivia Rinaldi next on the Mark Arum Show.
I'm not surprised that Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical continues to grow and are looking for good, caring people to join their team. If you've got experience as a plumber, electrician, or you're an HVAC technician, give Ragsdale a call and become part of a great team. This is Scott Slate, and I used companies large and small until I went with Ragsdale years ago and saw firsthand how competent and caring a heating and air company could be. Many of their employees have been with them 10, 20, even 30 years. For a great opportunity to grow with a great company, go to ragsdaleair.com/careers and apply today.
From mission-critical moments to business as usual, rely on Critical Link from Southern Link, the network that supports L3 Harris LMR and LTE radios and Samsung Galaxy Series smartphones. Critical Link, reliability in action. Call 866-450-LINC for more information on Southern Link products and deals. Or visit Highfly Technologies in Atlanta or NextLink in Duluth. Go to southernlink.com to find a dealer near you.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
Ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. 11:37. Yeah, I'm in a singing mood. The markets are up. Good news, 2% across the board. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ monitoring the markets throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. We're going to head up to the White House again in just a second. But first, Deborah, the market's not the only things giving back today. We are giving back to the listeners.
Yeah, a pair of tickets to see Andrea Bocelli at Gas South Arena on October 11th.
Hot ticket, by the way. Not as hot as a Masters ticket, but running a close second. I'll tell you what, Gnocchi Deborah has just been crushing it today. I'm going to make it a layup for you, Gnocchi. Sixth caller to 404-872-0750. Sixth caller to 404-872-0750. And you'll win a pair of tickets to see Andrea Bocelli, courtesy of the Gas South Arena, at the Gas South Arena, October 11th, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. Do you know why, Deborah, I picked the number 6 today?
Why?
Gnocchi has given 6 people butterflies in their stomach today.
I can imagine
we
that.
We have had such a parade of guests and visitors in this, and they're all just taken aback by Gnocchi. He's like an Abercrombie model, this guy. All right, let's get to the heavy stuff. Big meeting. I played the audio of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just a minute ago. He met with President Trump, his second meeting, in-person meeting with the president since President Trump took office again. Joining us covering the story, White House correspondent for CBS News, Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, do you have any idea what was said behind closed doors or in front of the cameras yesterday between the two world leaders?
Yeah, certainly telling them that Netanyahu came back to the United States to meet with Trump. Particularly notable that it came after Trump announced those retaliatory tariffs last week. If you'll remember, Trump had that big Rose Garden announcement, which then led to a little bit of a market roiling, so how could one forget? But we heard and saw Netanyahu at the White House yesterday. He's the first global leader to meet with Trump face-to-face since those retaliatory tariffs were announced. And it was notable because Israel had previously said that they would suspend all tariffs on goods coming to the United States in anticipation of the tariff announcement. But regardless, Trump announced last week that there would be a 17% retaliatory tariff on Israeli goods coming to the U.S. So quite notable there, Netanyahu meeting with Trump, not only about those economic negotiations, but also about the ongoing war in Gaza. Another thing I do want to point out as well that the two men did talk about, and that was big news from that meeting yesterday, was Trump said that the U.S. will have direct talks with Iran over their nuclear program. And if you'll remember, not only is Israel engaged in a conflict in Gaza, but also having conflict with the Houthis, which are an Iranian-backed terror group out of Yemen. So quite notable there that Trump says there will be some negotiations and conversations happening with Iran over its nuclear program. Now, Iran says that they were caught by surprise by that announcement, but did ultimately confirm that there will be conversations happening on Sunday in Oman between Iranian officials and U.S. officials about their nuclear program. So
Wow,
quite notable.
Yeah, a lot of headlines came out of there. Let me go back to the tariff talks, if you don't mind, Olivia, because unless my research is wrong, Israel is one of the nations that the United States actually has a trade surplus with, meaning we sell more to them than they buy from us, which I would have thought would have made Israel not maybe immune to the Liberation Day tariffs, but they would have had minimal, if any, tariff impact.
One would think so, right? And also they're our top ally in that region. It's crucial to have the relationship that we do with them. So one would think you wouldn't want to do anything to harm that relationship between the United States and Israel. Still, though, Trump did put on those retaliatory tariffs, even though we have that trade surplus with them. But quite notable, this kind of goes to that underlying factor we've been talking about with White House and economists who have been criticizing that formula that the White House used to put on these tariffs, saying that this was a bad equation. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It does include those non-tariff barriers like VAT taxes and other things that would, in their calculations, say amount to a trade deficit. But on its face, we do have very good trade with Israel, one of our top partners. Netanyahu obviously is a negotiator, political, and he's got some political prowess. So he took it upon himself to come to the United States and have that meeting face-to-face with Trump and compliment him and say that they're working towards this deal, doing all of the legwork to try to make sure that they are not slapped with huge retaliatory tariffs. And those are set to go into effect tonight. At midnight.
Yeah. Olivia Rinaldi from CBS News joining us live from the White House here on the Mark Arum Show. Over to the Iran story. I'm going to play some audio from President Trump yesterday.
We're dealing with the Iranians. We have a very big meeting on Saturday, and we're dealing with them directly.
I mean, really coming out of left field, especially what the United States has been doing with the Houthis, the proxy of Iran. This wasn't on my radar at all, any sort of talks or normalization with Iran. But, if this Sunday meeting goes forward, this could actually be really huge for the region.
Oh, it certainly could. It would be very, very important. Obviously, when Trump came into office during the first time, he pulled out of the Iran nuclear agreement, which would allow them, some enrichment and a lifting of, or would pause their nuclear program for an exchange of lifting of sanctions. Trump pulled out of that, and since then we've seen a ramping up from Iran of their nuclear program. Trump now saying they're having direct talks, the Iranians are saying they're indirect talks, meaning that they're going to go through mediators and negotiators, which is how this has been unfolding for the last several years during the Biden administration, but still quite notable regardless that Trump is saying he's open to those talks because, as we've seen over the last several weeks, those strikes against the Houthis have ramped up significantly. We have seen, near daily bombardment of the Houthis there. This is part of the White House's maximum pressure campaign. So it is quite interesting that as part of this campaign has been unfolding, Trump is saying that they're going to have those conversations. We're hearing that Steve Witkoff might be the person who's going to Oman. He's also been the one who's been in those negotiations with Israel and Gaza in Egypt over a potential ceasefire there. He's also been in negotiations with Ukraine and Russia and ending that conflict there. So he's certainly keeping his people busy in making these negotiations and deals to end these foreign conflicts.
Final quick question for you, Olivia. Anything big planned at the White House? Any, press conferences? Will the president be speaking at all?
We do have a press briefing today on Trump's schedule. He's also expected to sign some executive orders. And tonight he's going to address the NRCC here in Washington, those congressional Republicans, who he also desperately needs to pass his budget resolution. And that vote is coming this week. So if you thought we were going to get a slowdown of news, I can promise you we're not. We're setting up for a budget fight later this week here in Washington. The news never stops.
And neither does your coverage. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News. As always, great stuff. Thanks for your time, Olivia.
Thank you.
It might be recency bias, but I cannot remember a time when news moves so fast. There's so much news. There's so much going on in the world. It might be recency bias. There might have someone be like, "Oh, what, you forget 1987 when we had this?" Maybe, but I wasn't covering it. It's insane. And then to throw Iran talks into all this, wow, Wyckoff, that dude's like the global negotiator now, handling the Russia-Ukraine talks, handling Israel-Hamas talks, and now maybe starting a conversation with Iran. Crazy story. Not as crazy as this story, and I absolutely love this story. And you'll probably love it, too, if you're a fan of the Game of Thrones. A once extinct species coming back to life, Deborah.
A genetic engineering company has brought back an animal from extinction. Colossal Biosciences has brought back the dire wolf. They were able to take DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 70,002-year-old skull and Jurassic Park them all together to birth 3 wolf pups. Now, the dire wolf is larger than a gray wolf, stands about 3.5 feet tall, weighs about 150 pounds, but they went extinct about 13,000 years ago, although they were around at the same time as gray wolves were. The company is also said to be working on bringing back the woolly mammoth.
I'm all for the woolly mammoth. I think that'd be phenomenal. Can you imagine? You go to the zoo Atlanta and they're like, "We got woolly mammoths now. Who needs the pandas? We got a woolly mammoth." Now, it's not the T-Rex, right? But the dire, what are they going to do with these dire wolves, Deborah? Are they going to let them all go in Whitefish, Montana and go tame the deer population? Are they going to be in zoos? Are they going to be pets? Do we have any idea what these...
I don't
now
think they can be pets.
Well, I'd hope not, right? But that's a risky
Well, that
animal.
means we'd have pet woolly mammoths, too.
That I could see. I could absolutely see that. I'm just fascinated by that. And again, as I mentioned last week on the show, as cool as Jurassic Park was, DNA experts said there's no way that the DNA can survive 65 million years. It decays. The oldest DNA they found was 2.5 million years old. So obviously the dire wolves went extinct. I think they were out during the last ice age, during the Younger Dryas period. But I'm pumped for a woolly mammoth. Oh my goodness, that'd be phenomenal.
Zoo Atlanta gets one of those, they can name it after me.
That would be more appropriate, maybe. The woolly mammoth.
Thanks,
yeah. All right. Thank you, Deborah, for that story. Hey, congrats to Asia in Hampton. She won tickets to see Andrea Bocelli at the Gas South Arena October 11th. Apparently, Asia told Gnocchi that she and her coworkers listen every day on the WSB radio app. So I appreciate that, Asia. Congratulations. All right, let's check the ride around town. Straight to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Here's Alex Williams.
And if you're traveling up 75 north toward Marietta and Kennesaw, running into a little bit of volume from North Marietta Parkway up toward Chastain Road. Southbound, some trouble off to the right, just below North Marietta Parkway, causing a tap of the brakes there. And that road work continues, just a left lane open, 316 eastbound, approaching Sugarloaf Parkway. You're slow leaving I-85. Not worth an alternate. Just stick with it, because once you get to Sugarloaf Parkway, that ride will improve. And we got that construction, I-20 eastbound into DeKalb on the collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. Left lane block there, slowing the ride coming off of 285 northbound, the outer loop. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. You know the saying, April showers bring May flowers, but in my case, they brought unwanted pests. Just last week, I noticed the mosquitoes were taking over my backyard and the carpenter bees swarming my outdoor deck. I knew I needed help, so I called Arrow Exterminators. Ken, my Arrow team member, didn't just provide a solution. He gave me peace of mind with their Arrow Exterminators friendly and effective treatments. Arrow Exterminators has been a family-owned business for over 61 years, so they really treat you like part of the family. They even offer a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Plus, you can get a free home or business pest inspection to stay ahead of any pest problems. Thanks to Ken and Arrow Exterminators, my family can enjoy our backyard again. So don't wait for the pests to settle in. Take back your yard this spring. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com. And when you do, be sure to tell them Belinda sent you.
It's the active season here in the ATL. Are you going to be active or inactive because of chronic joint pain? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at QC Kinetics. I want you to know something. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Atlanta are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief you need. With QC Kinetics, the science solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Get out and be active this summer. Golfing, swimming, tennis. Heck, pickleball seems to be picking up speed. Get out there and be active. Don't let your chronic joint pain hold you back. Curious if you'd be a candidate for these treatments? No problem. Consultation totally free, and they're happy to take a look and see if they can help you finally get relief. Call now and find out how easy it is to get back to enjoying life without chronic joint pain. Now, the best time to get started. Call QC Kinetics now, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026 for QC Kinetics.
Motorcycle riders like you are a different breed. You don't just ride your bike, you're obsessed. So if someone causes you to lay your bike down, you need a different kind of attorney, one that understands bikers and their rights. Eric Von Hessler here for my friends at Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group, motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Steel Horse Law can help you get back on your feet, medical bills paid, and your case resolved. Trust is everything, and results matter. Free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
Hey, it's Scott Slade with another big update from my friends at MyLend. They've got a new mortgage available to those of you who own a rental home or investment property. This loan allows you to qualify based on the cash flow of the property. That means you don't need to provide your income or employment like a traditional mortgage. It's special programs and industry knowledge like this that keep me talking about the abilities of my friends at MyLend. Whether you're looking to buy a new home, refinance to lower your payment, or need to see how you can access the equity in your home to pay off other debts, do yourself a favor. Call my friends at MyLend. Countless 5-star reviews and testimonials from homeowners just like you. MyLend's been a top mortgage lender in Atlanta and a friend of mine for decades. Give MyLend a call today. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's mylend.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS in Georgia residential mortgage licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLend is an equal housing lender.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
I can be a part of your campaign, or I can end it. I'll do whatever it takes, too. But I will not let this go.
Happy 59th birthday, Robin Wright. That's her in House of Cards as Claire Underwood. To me, though, she'll forever be Janny from Forrest Gump. Janny, she's 59. I thought she was older than that. She looks fantastic. Good stuff. Again, 51 years ago, as heard on WSB Radio.
There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be...
Getting chills.
It's gone. It's 7:15.
April 8th.
There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
1974, Hank Passed the Babe, heard live here on WSB Radio. You know absolutely that I would do anything to save or protect my animals. This story, Deborah, warmed my heart.
What would you do to rescue your pet? A woman in Florida jumped on top of an alligator to save her dog. She was walking her dog along a lake when she spotted the gator, but seconds later, the animal lunged and had the dog in its mouth. She was able to jump on top of it and punch the gator, pry its mouth open, and pull her puppy out. The stunned gator ran back into the water immediately. Both the dog and the owner required some stitches, but they're both okay.
You might remember this, Deborah. I used to have nightmares. Back in my old house, it was right on Peachtree Creek, and I'd walk the dogs along the creek. And I know there's no alligators on Peachtree Creek, but I'd have nightmares that I'd be walking my pups along the creek and an alligator would come up and try to snatch the dog. Yeah, I know. I'd wake up and I'd sweat like, oh my God, the gator. Yeah, that was just a dream. I would do that, though. I wouldn't attack a gator in any other situation, but if they're going after my dogs, you better believe it. I'm pounding gator. By the way, I got to shout out the Florida Gators. I had the foresight to pick them. I know Dog Nation hates me right now, but I won the WSB bracket pool because of them Gators, so I will give them some props today. Not star of the show, but I will give them props.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, today is National Empanada Day.
Oh,
yeah. So the earliest mention of empanadas by name is in 1520 cookbook in Catalan, describing regional Catalan, French, Italian, and Arabian foods.
Deborah, you've made us amazing empanadas over the year. What's your go-to empanada? If you were entering an empanada contest, do you go sweet or savory?
I tend to go sweet. I'm a
Yeah.
better baker than I am cook, so I tend to do sweet.
The peach empanadas that you make are phenomenal. Yeah.
Peach bourbon and cinnamon. That's
Yes.
Yep.
Ooh, all right.
Sorry I didn't make any today.
That's okay, Deborah. Listen, you're busy producing this show. It's crazy how busy you are. All right. Happy National Empanada Day. Let's get some stars of the show and then go get some empanadas.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Aram Star of the Show?
Mr. Fact of the Day, Longoria brought me in a chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A. He did not try to rob the Chick-fil-A, so good for you, Longoria. The Longoria girls, both of them came in on spring break. What spring break dream is it for any young girl to spend spring break at the Mark Aram Show?
Yeah, to hang out with the Mark Aram
To hang out,
Show.
I mean, come on. Who needs to go to the beach when you can hang out at the Mark Aram Show? So both the Longoria girls get a star of the show. Lil Gnocchi, phenomenal work today. Good stuff from him. He gets the star of the show. Olivia Rinaldi from CBS at the White House. Rory O'Neill. Brian Clark from ABC joined us in New York. How about Clark Howard? Fantastic insight on the tariffs and the markets. If you missed it, check out the podcast. He joined us after the news at 10:30. Steve Lefkoff came in to talk about Japanese mini trucks. He gets a star of the show. Yeah, I believe that's it. Yeah, me and Deborah. Deborah and I will get him as well. Look at Longoria with his little
I'm getting a
girls.
massage.
He's getting a massage. Fantastic stuff.
This is the best spring break.
Social media is active 24/7. Hit me up at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Tuesday, Atlanta.